My goal is to get every trophy for Fallout 3 and earn the platinum. For this, I'll have to complete the main story, grind a lot of side missions, collect every single bobblehead, win a bunch of speech battles, hack every computer in the North American continent, and distribute more lead across the Capital Wasteland than a Chinese toy factory. As if this wasn't challenging enough, I'm going to push myself even further by playing on very hard difficulty. In this mode, enemies do twice the normal damage, while my weapons get a massive downgrade. But there is a silver lining. In exchange for every enemy turning into an unstoppable juggernaut, I get a 50% XP bonus. This will help me level up faster and grab the best perks early on. According to this guide, it should take 120 hours, but I don't have that kind of time, so I have a few ideas to get around some of the more grindy trophies. Our story starts in 2277, over 200 years after a global nuclear war wiped out all civilization and nearly ended humanity. But as the Dr. Ian Malcolm once said,
life finds a way.
And so humanity persevered, rebuilding itself amongst the ruins of nuclear war. The wasteland is a terrible place, full of mutants and bandits. But fortunately for me, I was born into complete safety in Vault 101. As the raspberry jam is cleared from my screen, I'm greeted by the warm and friendly face of my dad. Yes, he's wearing a mask, but I bet he has a really happy face underneath. Time to select my sex. Wait a minute. Is that Liam Neeson? Holy shit, my dad is Liam Neeson. May God have mercy on anyone who tries to kidnap me, because you see, Dad has a very particular set of skills. He will find my kidnapper, and he will kill him. Next, I enter my name. Let's see, how about Gary?
Gary?
The gene projection device tells me that my adult version will look like someone with fetal alcohol syndrome.
You're going to look a lot like your dad.
No, Dad, I look like a chump. Thanks for nothing. My mother says a few words of encouragement and passes away due to birth complications. Just born into this world and I've already killed someone. We fast forward a year and now I'm crawling around in my playpen. I sound so adorable. Just look at me kicking this ball around and oh, what's that? Looks like a handle to open the gate. Can't keep me locked in here, Dad. The game introduces the special system, which is an acronym for all 7 attributes: strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. I'm going to prioritize strength, agility, and intelligence so I can be a post-apocalyptic death trooper and run around shooting stuff. Alright, time to do one final check. Luck is for pussies. I don't need that. Charisma? Nah, I'll let my guns do the talking. And all set, let's go. Liam Neeson is back, so I do my best Darth Vader impression by levitating the corpse of a teddy bear in front of him, but he's not impressed. My dad tells me about my mom's favorite Bible passage. It's about the water of life. I wonder if this might be foreshadowing for something that will happen later in the game? Guess we'll have to find out. We jump forward and I'm officially a young man at 10 years old. It's my birthday and look what the Vault Overseer has brought me. A Pip-Boy 3000. Wow, this thing even has an internet connection. But you know what it doesn't have? NordVPN to protect me from the spying eyes of the Overseer. That's right, folks. Today's video partner is NordVPN, and I couldn't be more excited to tell you about their exclusive deal. If you sign up right now using my link, nordvpn.com/trophies, you can get an extra 4 months completely free with every purchase of a 2-year plan. But you might be asking, Trophies, why do I need NordVPN? I've been using the internet all this time and nothing bad has ever happened to me. Well, that could change very quickly. Fortunately for you, NordVPN's threat protection is your guardian during every online interaction. Whether you're downloading a file or clicking a link, threat protection diligently scans for malware and malicious websites, ensuring a secure browsing experience. Say goodbye to pesky pop-ups, as threat protection also blocks ads, providing uninterrupted browsing. And its DDoS protection will hide your IP address, ensuring you don't get booted off your Fallout 76 server by some angry 13-year-old whose camp you've been nuking for the last 2 days. That is assuming, of course, you still play Fallout 76. Wait, how are so many people still playing this game? Huh, must be that TV show. Remember guys, if you sign up using my link, nordvpn.com/trophies, you'll get all these features and more for a discounted price. This link works with standard, plus, and complete plans, and it's totally risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So you've got nothing to lose. Click the link in the description below to secure your internet right now. Time to put on my Pip-Boy and swear an oath to loyalty to the Overseer so I can be a slave till the day I die. Isn't Vault 101 a wonderful place? Just look how happy everyone is for my birthday. And there's my first trophy, the Vault 101 Citizenship Award. Hooray for brainwashing and child labor. This party is lame, but at least Amada bought me a copy of Conan. I mean, Groddak the Barbarian. Who else is here at my party? Oh look, it's Butch and his friends. These a-holes are still trying to come up with a name for their stupid gang, but I've got an idea. I'll take this sweet roll that Lady Palmer gave me for a gift and eat it. right in front of Butch. Andy, the floating tin can, sawed my cake into bits, but it's fine because Dad has something much more interesting for me, a BB gun. We sneak into the reactor where my dad and his friend Jonas run me through the shooting tutorial. I even get to kill a rad roach, yay! Another flash forward, and I'm now 16 years old, ready to take the GOAT exam. Basically, this is an aptitude test taken by every Vault member once they turn 16. How we answer these questions should, in theory, determine what job we're assigned. But in reality, it's all a bunch of crap, and we'll get assigned random roles anyways. While leaving Dad's lab, I grab the medicine bobblehead, which permanently increases my medicine skill by 10 points. Finding 10 bobbleheads will earn me a trophy, and when I find all 20, I'll get another trophy. On my way to the classroom, I see Butch and his gang harassing Amada.
I can show you a real tunnel snake, Amada.
Hold it right there, greaseball. Only I get to make sexual innuendos around my girlfriend. Turns out the tunnel snakes are more like tunnel rats because they run away after getting their asses handed to them. My teacher's a real chill guy, so he lets me skip the test and go straight to the results. I take small guns, repair, and lockpick. There is a trophy for actually completing the GOAT, but we'll come back later for that one. We jump ahead another 3 years. I hear a bunch of angry voices in the background, and when I wake up, Amada tells me that my father is gone. What? But they told me no one has ever opened Vault 101. Almost as if it was an impossible feat. Now half the vault is pissed off at my dad, and the overhear has sent his goons to hunt me down. Amada tells me about a secret tunnel to the vault door that's right underneath her father's office. She also hands me her father's 10mm pistol, which is my first real gun since I've only shot BBs until this point. Alright, time to go. I'm just hoping these security guards don't force me to kill them. But if they attack me first, I'm not gonna hold back. I run into Officer Kendall, who's fighting some rad roaches, so I decide to help him out by bashing his head in with a baseball bat. It takes a while because enemies are super tanky on this difficulty, but he goes down eventually. Butch asks me to help his mom, who's trapped in her room with some rad roaches. Despite his tough guy act, he's secretly a coward. Alright, guess I'll help out your mom even though you and your friends have been total assholes to me since I was a kid. We run into his mom's room, where she's stuck between a pair of rad roaches. Come on, Roach, show me that pretty face, and bam, home run! I gain some karma. Butch is really thankful and gives me his tunnel snakes jacket.
Hey, you're the best friend I've ever had, man.
Yeah, sure, pal, whatever you say. This is the last time I'm going to drink pure water from a sink, because soon we'll be roaming the wasteland where every water source is irradiated. I wonder if someone out there is working on a giant hyper-advanced purifier that can fix this issue. As I make my way towards the Overseer's office, I see the carnage left behind by these giant bugs. The diner is completely screwed, and Grandma Taylor is dead. Officer Gomez lets me escape because he's such a nice guy. Or maybe he knows that I'm the main character of the story. Andy, the robot who ruined my cake all those years ago, is burning some rad roaches. Glad to know this rust bucket is good for something. The Overseer is holding Amada captive and using Officer Mac to interrogate her. The bad guys see me and immediately rush outside to catch an ass whooping from my baseball bat. Good riddance. I try to reason with the Overseer, but he won't give me the password to his secret tunnel.
Gods, help me!
Sorry, they can't help you because they're all dead. In his room, I find the Overseer's office key hidden inside a dresser. I try to hack into his terminal, but I fail and get locked out. Oh, would you look at that? He keeps the password right next to the computer in an open locker. Security is really awful around here. After opening the secret passage, I try to make a move on Amada, but get friend-zoned. Whatever, I bet she'll live happily in Vault 101, and the Overseer definitely won't punish others who wish to establish contact with the outside world. I mean, who could imagine something like that ever happening? Right? Hint, it does happen, and I come back later into Vault 101 to rescue everyone from the crazy Overseer. Just as I'm getting ready to leave my old home, I get ambushed by 3 of the Overseer's thugs. One of them has a gun, and I need to take him down first. You can see how long it takes to kill even one of these guys on very hard difficulty. It's like I'm hitting them with a feather duster. I almost die, but I manage to take out all of them. I take my first step into the wasteland and feel the warmth of the sun, and the radioactivity of a nuclear hellscape. Yeah, it's amazing. I can already feel the toxic fumes entering my lungs. Better get used to it because this is where I'm about to spend the rest of my life. As a reward, the game gave me a trophy for escaping Vault 101, and I leveled up. Awesome. I'm going to take my explosive skill to 25, and I'll show you why really soon. I put the rest into small guns so I can shoot better. For my first perk, I'll take Swift Learner. It's best to max this out as early as you can because it gives a 10% bonus to XP, and you can upgrade it to rank 3. Okay, let's head over to Megaton, which is the settlement nearest to Vault 101. The entire place is built from old airplane parts taken from a nearby airfield. It has a bunch of NPCs who give you all sorts of quests. The first thing I'm going to do is visit Mora at Craterside Supply. She's writing a Wasteland survival book and needs my help. In other words, I'll be her guinea pig and do all sorts of weird stuff, like purposefully getting a high dose of radiation poisoning and running headfirst into sewers infested with giant mole rats. I also learned that my dad wasn't the first person to escape from Vault 101. Mora gives me a modified Vault 101 suit that's been retrofitted with armor plates. Thanks, I'll take that. It looks much better than the regular suit. Remember guys, looking cool is the most important thing in the Wasteland. Completing the Wasteland Survival Guide will give me a trophy, but I'm going to save that for later. Right now, I'm headed to Rivet City to grab the Intelligence bobblehead so I can get more skill points every time I level up. On my way, I'm attacked by some dogs and where did this one come from? It's like it teleported behind me while I was aiming at the other dog. Wow, they do a lot of damage. I'll just use the special run backward really fast with your butthole clench tight skill to maintain my distance. If only these dogs could stop lunging from 10 feet away. I thought this was Fallout, not Dark Souls. 50 shots to the head later, the second dog finally goes down, and I can resume my journey to Rivet City. The safest way is through this river so I can avoid all the Wasteland critters. Eventually, I make it to Rivet City, and in the science lab, I find the Intelligence bobblehead, next to a bunch of eggheads. Now, my intelligence is maxed out, and I'll get more skill points with each level up. Since I'm already in the science lab, I also grabbed the missing android quest from Dr. Zimmer. He's from the Commonwealth, and one of his artificial humans has run off, so he wants me to track him down. Awesome! I can now roleplay as Deckard from Blade Runner. I head down to the Capital Preservation Society, where the man with the most American name ever, Abraham Washington, gives me a quest to recover the Declaration of Independence. Absolutely, sir. In the name of Thomas Jefferson, I swear I'll bring the Declaration back from the National Archives. But not now, since that place is crawling with super mutants, and they'll tear me a new one if I show up like this. I need to level up more and get better gear. Speaking of which, it's time to head back to Megaton. After arriving, I head straight to the water treatment facility and pick up a quest to fix some leaking pipes around the city. I have a repair skill of 30, so it's as easy as walking around and pressing the action key near a leak. Completing this quest gets me to level 3. I dump all my points into speech and take the second rank of the Swift Learner perk. The old man in the water treatment plant says he'll give me caps for scrap metal, which sounds like a great deal. Out on the main street, I'm greeted by Sheriff Lucas Sims, who tells me that there's an active nuclear bomb in the middle of the city. Hang on, are you seriously suggesting that people agreed to build a whole city around a nuke? That sounds extremely unsafe, so I'm going to save them from a potential catastrophe in the future. To disarm the bomb, I need an explosive skill of 25. And now you know why I upgraded my explosive skill right after I got out of the vault. Time to progress the main story a bit, so I head into Moriarty's saloon. If there's anyone who knows about Dad's whereabouts, it's this guy, since he pretty much runs the entirety of Megaton. But this gritty bastard won't give me any information for free, so I have to do a little deck collection for him. I break into this lady's house to collect Moriarty's caps. Fortunately, I win the speech battle, which means I won't have to use my guns. On my way out of the shack, I sneak in a little extra loot by taking our—
You won't get away with that.
Sorry lady, I already have. I quick travel back to Megaton so I can report to Moriarty. What? He still wants 100 caps after I did this job for him? As much as I'd like to ventilate this guy's skull with a shotgun, I'm forced to hand over the caps, and he tells me that my dad went to GNR, Galaxy News Radio. In the corner of the saloon, I find this fedora-wearing gentleman called Mr. Burke, who looks like a 1950s version of Agent 47. He offers to pay me if I blow up the bomb in the middle of Megaton, and even gives me an activation device along with a remote detonator. Wiping out an entire town in exchange for a few caps? Sounds interesting, but I'll have to pass on it because I need that platinum trophy. Hey, remember when Mora asked me to get radiation poisoning so she could analyze the effectiveness of her antidote? The easiest way to get critical radiation poisoning is by drinking from the Fountain of Nukes. It's the highly irradiated pool of water around the active nuclear bomb. Right next to the crater is the Brass Lantern Pub, and inside, I meet a junkie by the name of Leo Stahl. Despite a 35% chance of succeeding, I win the dialogue battle and convince him to tell his family about his chem addiction. Nice! That gave me some positive karma and XP. Plus, I got a key to Leo's drug stash. I enter Mora's shop, glowing like Shanghai on Chinese New Year. Yeah, not funny, Mora. I feel like crap. Mind giving me that cure? She cures me, but now I'm mutated, and my crippled limbs will automatically regenerate if I have advanced radiation poisoning. Wow, this is just like in the movies where instead of killing you, radiation gives you superpowers. Next, I disarm the bomb and earn the Power of the Atom trophy. I'm level 4 now and take the Educated perk, which grants me 3 extra skill points every time I advance in level. As a bonus, Lucas hands me the key to my very own house in Megaton, complete with a bedroom and kitchen. I also get a stand to display all the bobbleheads I've collected. But here's the best part. Meet Wadsworth, my robot butler. Just listen to him.
Two atoms are in a bar. One says, "I think I lost an electron." The other says, "Are you sure?" To which the other replies, "I'm positive."
Isn't he awesome? And he can hand out purified water, 5 bottles a week. These bottles are actually quite handy if you need to earn some quick karma. I'll show you later. Right now, I'm going to get the strength bobblehead from Lucas Sims' house. Hey kid, don't mind me, just here to steal some stuff. And there's the strength bobblehead. Now my strength is maxed out, and I'm one step closer to getting the first bobblehead trophy. 3 down, 7 more to go. For my next quest, I'll head to Tenpenny Tower. It's just southwest of the Robco facility that produces robots and houses many interesting NPCs. The whole place is owned by Alistair Tenpenny, a rich entrepreneur from England. And he doesn't care about anyone who isn't rich or influential. Safe to say, almost everyone at Tenpenny Tower is a douchebag. But they're rich douchebags, so I know I'll earn some good money. On my way to Tenpenny Tower, I find a secret supply stash inside a hollow rock. And because there's no sprinting in this game, I walk there. Slowly. The game noticed that I'm getting bored and threw a giant soldier ant at me. But because this guy's skull is thicker than a block of lead, my bullets just bounce off and have no effect. To make matters worse, a dog decides to ambush and bite me in the ass while I'm busy with a giant bug. No, bad dog. Oh no, my back is against a rock with no place to run. Die already, you stupid insect. Phew, that was close. With the wasteland critters gone, I resume my long and extremely slow journey to Tenpenny Tower. Hey, is that a flamethrower raider behind that window? Best stay clear since I'm severely lacking in firepower and need better gear before I start taking on more advanced enemies. Near a bridge in Fort Independence, I find some Brotherhood outcasts fighting off a raider gang. I help them out and they agree to pay me caps in exchange for technology. The outcasts have a fetish for technology and consider people like me to be ignorant commoners. Don't worry though, we're gonna deal with these ungrateful clowns in a separate mission. After this, I kill some overgrown houseflies and continue towards Tenpenny Tower. Another vicious dog tries to attack me, but this time I've got a hunting rifle. My heart swells with joy as I see Tenpenny Tower in the distance. Its silhouette is immediately recognizable because there aren't many other tall buildings still standing in this post-nuclear hellscape. And here's Robco Facility. Every time I pass through one of these named locations, they become available for fast travel on my map. At the entrance, I find a suspiciously well-armed ghoul arguing with someone on the intercom. I guess they really don't like ghouls if they're willing to lose money by not doing business with them. Not my problem, I'm just here to make some caps. How's it going, guys?
Get your rotten, ugly, goddamn ghoul ass off Mr. Tenpenny's private property.
Hey, that's no way to talk to a guest. After some haggling with a guard, I pay him 100 caps and he lets me in. Inside, I learn that they really hate a ghoul named Roy Phillips. He was the one arguing over the intercom earlier. Looks like him and his buddies are holed up in a nearby metro station, and I'm being offered 500 caps to take him out. I use my speech skills to secure some more money, and the chief even hands me a Chinese assault rifle, along with a few rounds of 5.56 ammo. Sweet! Inside the metro, I run into some feral ghouls. These creatures are zombified versions of regular ghouls who've completely lost their minds. Feral ghouls move fast and can do lots of damage up close, so I maintain my distance and fire in short bursts to conserve ammo. The Chinese assault rifle is one of the best guns at this stage of the game, but I can't let my guard down for even 1 second, or I'll be turned into zombie dinner. The VAT system is my best friend down here, and I'm gonna aim for the head. Like that. It feels so satisfying to roll an accurate headshot in VATS and watch your enemy's skull just explode into little bits of blood and brain matter. Deep in the metro tunnels, I find the man of the hour, Roy Phillips. But this is where I pull the old double cross and decide to join forces with my ghoul friend. He tells me about a plan to liberate Tenpenny Tower of its bigoted populace by unleashing an army of feral ghouls. I know what you're thinking, but don't worry, because the item I'm about to get will be worth a lot more than the 700 caps promised me by Chief Gustavo. To make Roy's plan work, I must open a gate in the basement of Tenpenny Tower that connects it to the metro tunnels. Once that gate is opened, the feral ghouls are going to flood in, and it's going to look like a scene from World War Z. I get the key from an old adventurer by the name of Herbert Dashwood. You're alright, Herbert. Don't come to the tower tomorrow. Before unleashing an army of ghouls on the unsuspecting residents of Tenpenny Tower, I buy some combat armor from the vendor in the lobby. Pleasure doing business with you, sir. I'll be back with some friends. I open the gate, and here's that item I was talking about earlier, the ghoul mask. It's pretty amazing, especially in higher difficulties, because it prevents feral ghouls from attacking me, although it probably smells like crap. Since this concludes the 10 penny tower quest, I earn a trophy and level up at the same time. I put most of my points into the lockpicking and upgrade Swift Learner to rank 3. Yeah, I'm not winning any beauty contests with this one, but it should keep me safe from the ghouls as they massacre literally everyone inside. I spend half an hour just collecting loot. Man, there's so much stuff in here. Armor, caps, weapon schematics, and keys to the inventory of every single shop in the lobby. This is way better than a measly 700 caps. I feel like a kid at a candy shop, except all the candy is free and I can pick whatever I want. The next time I enter 10 penny tower, it's filled with ghouls. What's funny is they talk just like the old human residents, politely greeting me as I walk past them. I wonder if the developers simply reuse some of the voice lines. Personally, I believe the ghouls learn new mannerisms and underwent a cultural transformation to prove that they can be just as elegant and refined as the elite tier of human society. I don't know, that's just my headcanon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now I've got some decent armor and weaponry, but we can go one step further. There is a way to earn the best armor in the game really early through the Anchorage DLC. Remember when we met those Brotherhood outcasts earlier near the bridge? Now we'll go to their base and play a little VR simulation. To trigger this questline, I received an outcast distress signal on my Pip-Boy's radio and went to the broadcast location. There's a couple of outcasts fighting a group of super mutants, and I helped them out, but instead of thanking me, they just tell me to screw off, until they notice the Pip-Boy on my wrist. Just like the Brotherhood, these guys have their own weird naming conventions where the grunts are called Defenders and the leader is called Protector. Whatever, I don't care about your funny names, just tell me where the boss is so I can get my shiny new armor. While riding the elevator, I overhear a conversation between two outcasts, talking about their disapproval for the boss. Sounds like the outcasts aren't as unified as most people were led to believe. I just hope these guys shoot each other so I don't have to waste my ammo. Everybody's just telling me to fuck off.
Fine. Otherwise, out of my way.
They really don't like people who aren't part of their little fraternity.
That computer there on your wrist. Maybe you can be useful to us after all.
So my Pip-Boy makes me unique, and you need my help because of that. I love how the special dialogue option is literally you repeating what the other guy just said. Ah, yes, the computer makes me unique. I'm so intelligent. After wearing a neural interface suit, I get into a pod that's running a VR simulation. Only someone with a personal computer like the Pip-Boy can use these pods. My goal is to liberate Anchorage from the communist Chinese invaders. Succeeding here will unlock a vault that contains advanced weaponry and armor. Inside the simulation, I meet Sergeant Montgomery, who tells me that we need to eliminate the Chinese resistance on these cliffs and blow up 3 giant artillery guns that are bombarding friendly forces. I really like this mission because it reminds me of All Gillied Up from COD Modern Warfare. It was the sniper mission in which you teamed up with Captain McMillan to assassinate a terrorist leader in Chernobyl. Montgomery starts climbing the rocks like he's Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible 2, while I stare in amazement. This is when I get the trophy for aiding the outcast. Right now I have 2 options. I can go stealth or unleash my inner John Rambo and massacre these communist invaders with extreme prejudice. Since I wanted to take a more subtle approach, I sneak up on this lone Chinese soldier, but as soon as I fire my first shot, it all goes horribly wrong. You can't have a stealth gameplay loop when every enemy soaks up bullets like Wolverine. So I give up and decide to go full Rambo on these godless communists. As you can see, unlike the real world, enemies in the simulation just evaporate into a white mist. You can't loot them, but you can get health and ammo from dispensers scattered across each level. Weapon condition doesn't degrade, so you don't need to worry about that. I mag dump everything I have on this one soldier, and now I'm left with nothing but my trench knife. Alright, cold hard steel it is! All I need to do is close the distance and I can skewer his guts. Oh yeah, look at those slow-mo knife swings. How cool is that? Take that, you commie! Ammo dispenser, let's go baby, back in action. I grenade this guy till his limbs turn into mush and finish him off with my silenced pistol. But the next guy who runs in hits me pretty good. Come on, just one more hit with a knife. Oh, so close. Guess that's why you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Finally, a real gun instead of that pea shooter. Oh, even better. There's an endless supply of bad guys in this base, like they're rolling off of an assembly line. But that's good because I gained level 6 from killing so many of these Chinese soldiers. I immediately upgrade my small guns and repair skills. Then I take the toughness perk to gain some damage resistance. Neat. Now let's go blow up those artillery guns. Inside the cave outpost, I get the Gauss rifle and meet Captain Sergeant Montgomery. Inside this room, I find a piece of intel. And there's another one here. There are 10 of these for me to collect. I won't get a trophy, but General Chase will reward me with a covert ops perk. It'll boost my science, small guns, and lockpicking skills. Soon I come across a bunker on the other side of a rope bridge. Damn it, I'm out of Gauss rifle and the dispenser only works for normal guns. Guess I'll storm the bunker with my assault rifle. Holy shit, he has a flamethrower. It's like that bunker clearing scene from Saving Private Ryan, but this time the guy inside the bunker has the flamethrower. Just as I turn this corner, I'm greeted by 3 more Chinese soldiers. My health is so low, I could die from a stiff breeze. The first one slides straight into a wall as I perform a 30 caliber lobotomy on him, while the second guy, he does this. I liberate the last guy's head from his torso and grab the third piece of intel. 7 more to go. Here's number 4 in a storage room behind this locked door. That was pretty easy. As I walk up this stairwell, I run face first into a squad full of communists. What they don't know is I've got a whole bunch of grenades strapped to my belt and a Gauss rifle. Well, that was easy, like shooting fish in a barrel. In the artillery shell storage, I have my first encounter with members of the Crimson Dragoon. These are elite troopers with active camouflage that makes them nearly invisible, so I've got to be careful. And they do the anime teleport thing. Can you please stop moving for just half a second? All right, here's the first artillery gun. I make my way through a bunch of snipers and assault troopers who are camped in every corner of the mountain. After clearing out this bunker, I plant the demolition charge, and just as I'm escaping to take cover, I run into this Inferno trooper. Luckily, my first critical strike knocks him down, and I get enough time to create some distance between us. Killing the Inferno trooper gives me enough XP to level up, and I earn the Mercenary trophy for reaching level 8 with neutral karma. I put all my points into lockpicking and take the Strong Back perk, because there will be a lot of stuff to loot once we complete this simulation. Destroying the next 2 guns was easy because Montgomery is an absolute Giga Chad and face tanks everything. I'm just chilling in the back with my Gauss rifle while he's going to town on these commies. With all 3 guns destroyed, part 1 of the Anchorage DLC is done, and I earned the Guns of Anchorage trophy. Next, we have a multi-tier mission with 3 different locations that need to be assaulted in a specific sequence. General Chase promotes me to squad leader, and I get to pick my own team members. First, I head into a mining town where my squad does most of the heavy lifting, while I take a slight detour to have a rocket launcher duel with this guy. I finish him off with an SMG and grab the 5th piece of intel from a nearby crate. Just 5 more to go after this. Crimson Dragoon snipers are a real pain in the ass because you can't see them unless you close the distance, and they do lots of damage before you even get the chance to react. I find the 6th piece of intel inside the listening post. I'm here to clear out every single Chinese soldier so friendly forces can move in and start decoding their communications. Easier said than done because this whole facility is crawling with Crimson Dragoon snipers. Yeah, I got bum rushed by an invisible sniper while I was trying to toss a grenade. Round 2. I managed to kill these campers thanks to the conveniently placed health dispenser. Just outside, I cleaned up the last of the defending forces and secured the listening post. Time to move into the Chimera Depot, which is the 2nd stage of this mission. I also secured level 9 after killing a pair of stragglers beneath this hill. I put most of my points into science and took the commando perk for better accuracy with 2-handed weapons and VATs. After clearing out the ice camp of communist infiltrators, I found the 7th intel briefcase. Nice! Now it's time to assault the Chimera Depot and blow up their fuel tanks. Without fuel or maintenance, these Chinese tanks will be useless. Across the giant field of ice, I spot a few enemies and decide to give them a live demo of my Gauss rifle. Yeah, sneak attack on Strike Team Grenadier? Oh, I killed my own team member. Now my infantryman is pissed and shooting at me. Sorry, you gotta go too. I'll just tell HQ these 2 were communist spies. Nobody needs to know what happened here. Moving on. There's the depot. Let's go, team! What's left of it anyways. Inside, I find the 8th intel briefcase, and just 2 more to go before I get that covert ops perk. A Chimera tank is on its way, but it goes down after a few missiles to the turret. Fuel tank 1 rigged to blow? Look at that fireball. Fuel tank 2 goes down soon after. Job well done. Just 1 more stage and this simulation will finally be over. I get the trophy paving the way for destroying the Chimera Depot. Now I need to take down the pulse field so the power armor unit can walk in without getting cooked inside their suits. Even though this is a retro-futuristic world, I'm slowly making my way through trenches that look like they're from the First World War. Inside one of these trenches, I find the 9th intel briefcase next to a captured American soldier. A short while later, I get into a shed with an Inferno Trooper, and it ends with a very painful death. They must build these guys out of adamantium. Look, he's just walking through my mines and grenades like they're firecrackers. Eventually he goes down, and I move into another trench where a rocket trooper runs at me with his fists. It goes about as well as you'd expect. I find the last intel briefcase inside the pulse field control room and shut off the power, which means the guys in the power armor have nothing to fear. General Jingwei commits Sudoku after I tell him how pathetic he is. Chase drops in to congratulate me. So the Chinese were trying to take our oil? Yeah, I can see why they lost. Now the simulation is over and I'm back in the Outcast base. Time to grab my winterized T-51B. And there it is. Doesn't it look wonderful? This armor has practically infinite durability, so you can mow down entire armies of super mutants, ghouls, and enclave troops without even putting a dent in it. Regular power armor loses most of its damage resistance after a couple of fights, but not this one. I also earned the Operation Anchorage trophy, which takes me a little closer to that platinum. We still have a lot of work to do, but things should be much easier with this new armor. I also got a bunch of other goodies, like the Chinese stealth armor, a Gauss rifle, and some plasma grenades, which are way better than the regular frag grenades. While I'm picking up my loot, I hear some bickering in the background. They're probably arguing about what they should order for dinner. Guys, I recommend pizza, and holy crap, they're shooting each other. Okay. I call dibs on Sibley. He's the biggest a-hole of them all. Brace yourselves, because you're about to witness a well-deserved ass-kicking.
I think it's time for Jack to let her rip.
Man, this sword is awesome. It even has this awesome sheathing animation. All right, now that we're back topside, let me show you what I got in exchange for finding all 10 intel briefcases. This is the Covert Ops perk. The description doesn't mention it, but my science, small guns, and lockpick skills have been improved by 3 points. I've got the best armor in the game in combination with some really cool weapons. Time to do a few Wasteland quests. Let's get back to the Wasteland survival guide. There's a supermarket I need to visit. Inside, I'll have to gather some food and medical supplies for Mora. Before we head out, let's take a look at my brand new gear. Yeah, that winterized T-51B looks so cool, especially with a Gauss rifle on my back. Nobody in the entire Wasteland owns any pre-war gear except for me. On my way to the supermarket, a really funner encounter takes place. This red scorpion attacks me while itself being attacked by a dog. It really is a dog-eat-scorpion world out here. Inside the mart, I find a decent bit of loot. There's stim packs, ammo, energy cells, and snacks. In the main section, there's quite a few raiders and they give me some trouble, but nothing a combat shotgun can't solve. To complete the optional part of Mora's quest, I hack into the medical section and grab some chems. The last few raiders show up and I introduce them to the business end of my Gauss rifle. Level 11 reach, let's go! I take my small gun skill to 90 and the finesse perk, which gives me a higher chance to score critical strikes. I return to Mora and she's got another quest for me. This time, I'll be going into a town full of landmines. And you'll never guess the name, it's called, wait for it, Minefield. A trip to Minefield usually goes one of two ways. Either you get some XP and free mines in your backpack, or you turn into a quadruple amputee. I've done this before and I'm being extra careful so I don't take too much damage. Up these stairs, I find an old sniper and put him to sleep. Then I take all his ammo and sleep on his bed because he won't be needing it anymore. This playground sucks, everything is broken, and there's nobody playing here. Maybe this house will have something more interesting. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I'll just let you two get back to whatever you were doing. I walk into another house. This one has a cockroach infestation. Oh, a comic book, I'll take that. I used to be an explorer like you. Then I took a landmine to the knee. Okay, everything's been looted, let's head back to Mora.
How are those hot little potatoes? Because, you know, they're on the ground, like potatoes, and hot because they,
Yeah, definitely keep your day job, Mora. I don't see you building a successful career in comedy anytime soon. But thanks for the stim packs and landmine schematics. The crazy lady asked me to get injured so she can research on my body and figure out the best way to heal severe wounds. Yep, definitely don't see any reason why this should be a bad idea. Being the genius that I am, I decide the best place to get injured is right in front of the doctor's office. So I take a 50-foot dive and yeah. The risk I took was calculated, but man, I am bad at math. The next attempt goes much better because I reduce the drop height. Mora heals me up, and I get my next quest for the Wasteland Survival Guide. This time, I'm going to the tepid sewers where I'll test out her newest mole rat repellent. Hope this thing works. I already whacked a mole rat on my way here, so I just need to kill 9 more with this stick that Mora gave me. 3 of these creatures go down within the first minute, then I go deeper into the tunnels where I find a raider leader. After stealing all their stuff and sleeping on their beds, I come across another 4 mole rats. Honestly, the mines in the tunnels damaged me more than these raiders and mole rats. This room contains the last 2 mole rats along with a few raiders. And now my quest is done. Before returning to Mora, I walk into Georgetown, where I'm ambushed by a group of do-gooders who call themselves the Regulators. Apparently I've been a little too naughty and they're here to dispense justice. Sorry boys, I'm not interested in dying today. As you can see, these self-appointed sheriffs are extremely tanky and it takes 7 or 8 grenades to kill one of them. To make matters worse, right after I've dealt with Regulators, a few super mutants decide to join in on the action. Killing these mutants get me to level 12. I max out my lockpicking and select the Robotics Expert perk. With this perk, I deal an additional 25% damage to robots and can do stealth deactivations by sneaking up on them. Should come in handy when I infiltrate the Robco facility. I tell Mora that her mole rat repellent is actually lethal to the rats. Not that I'm complaining, since those rats were trying to make a 5-course meal out of my limbs just a little while ago. But good feedback is essential to developing a better product. Hopefully Mora gets it right the next time. My next assignment is to plant an observer device inside a Mirelurk egg pod so Mora can study their behavior. And for the best results, I have to try really hard not to kill any of them. The biggest Mirelurk lair is in Anchorage Memorial, so that's where I go to plant my observer device. I lock a Mirelurk hunter inside a room, but these things are more clever than I expected. In the middle of this building, I find the Mirelurk egg pods. Remember, I can't kill any of them, so I have to plant the device and run. This Mirelurk tries to eat me while I fumble around with the locked door, but I manage to escape back into the wasteland. Mora thanks me for not killing any of the Mirelurks. But you guys know there'll be plenty of crab meat later in this playthrough. Just don't tell Mora. The last chapter of Mora's book explores how to rebuild society after a catastrophic event like a global nuclear war. I mean, you live in Megaton, so you could just walk outside and ask people, but whatever. I'll go to Rivet City and find out how it was created. What should have been a simple mission quickly turned into a confusing mess, because everyone in Rivet City gave me a different version of their story. Bannon, who's Rivet City's top fashionista and a member of the council, told me that he built this entire place by hand and that it was just another dump 12 years ago. But I didn't like his boastful attitude and decided to do a little more investigation. Belle Bonnie at the Muddy Rudder bar told me that Baron is full of crap, and the only one who really knows this city's history is a man called Pinkerton, who lives all by himself in the bow of the ship. Alright, Belle sounds like someone who knows what she's talking about, and she's been around far longer than Bannon, so I'll go with her recommendation. The only way to reach Pinkerton is by taking a dive from the ship's deck into the irradiated waters below. I have my winterized T-51B power armor, which has really good radiation resistance, so this won't be an issue. But I have to be very careful with my oxygen levels. You already saw me die once because I spent a few too many seconds underwater. This should be the door that leads to Pinkerton's lab. Resurface for air, and there's the next one. Another door. And I'm finally inside the bow. This entire place is flooded, but I've got bigger things to worry about as I get stuck between 2 Mirelurk hunters. There's nowhere to run in this room, so I pull out my assault rifle and start spraying. Guys, I swear I don't have any money. Please leave me alone. After an extremely agonizing minute that saw me chugging through multiple stim packs, I deal with the murderous crabs and climb to the next level where I find a passageway that should take me to Pinkerton's lab. I was told this guy doesn't like visitors, so I should watch my step. Who knows what kind of booby traps he has placed around here? Even his computers are rigged to blow. Alright, I made it. Here's the lab, which means I can finally get some reliable information on the founding of Rivet City. Oh, hey, Mr. Pinkerton. I thought you'd be older. Don't mind me, just here to ask you a few questions. Pinkerton is still salty about being kicked from the council all those years ago, calling the people topside a bunch of backstabbers. He tells me that the ship used to be infested by Mirelurks some 40 years ago, which is when members of Naval Research Institute arrived and cleared them out. Then they established a lab in the science bay, which was still somewhat well preserved despite the rest of the ship being a complete mess. Gradually, more people joined and everything else grew around that lab. The market, the bar, the clinic, the church, all of it. And Mr. Pinkerton here was the lead scientist in charge of the whole team, until Dr. Lee arrived. She was working on Project Purity, and all of Pinkerton's colleagues left him to work with her. I asked Pinkerton for some evidence to back up his claims, and he gives me the holodisk records. Excellent. Now I can return to Mora with proof of Rivet City's true history. The Wasteland Survival Guide is almost done. I just have to complete 2 more quests. But since I have the Robotics Expert perk, I can do this.
Speak robot, do you? As long as you don't write it in all 1s and 0s, then I guess it'll be fine. Thanks.
Yep, that's me, the robotics expert. I could reprogram a sentry bot in my sleep, but I prefer to shoot them instead. Gets the job done much faster. Just one more quest and I'll get the Wasteland Survival Trophy. For the last one, I'll need to visit the Arlington Library and download their archives to my Pip-Boy. Just as I walk in, I'm stopped by a Brotherhood of Steel scribe who tells me that she is also here to scavenge the records and collect lost knowledge. Sounds like our goals are aligned. And she'll pay me for every pre-war book I retrieve for her. So I earn 800 caps by selling off some old books and head inside to access the main computer, which contains the complete archives. Inside the children's wing, I meet some raiders. These guys must be here for the comics, but their membership expired so long ago, so I have to expel them from the library premises. Permanently. There's more raiders in the media archives, and I take them out with the help of some Brotherhood soldiers. This gets me to level 13. I max out my science skill and take the fast metabolism perk, so I gain more health from stim packs. Further ahead, I find the main library terminal and download its archives. Now I can turn this into Mora and get my trophy. Back at Craterside Supply, I give her the archives, which should help her complete the book. I earn the Wasteland Survival Guide trophy and a perk that boosts my survival skills. Mora also gives me the first copy of her book, which I'm going to keep as a reminder of the journey I went through to get here. With this part of the game wrapped up, let's do a few other quests. Getting the Declaration of Independence for Abraham Washington in Rivet City will give me the Stealing Independence trophy. And preserving the history of this great nation is the duty of every patriotic American, so I'm going to head to the National Archives right away. The quickest way to the archives is via Rivet City. A few regulators ambush me near Anacostia Crossing, and I run away. I mean retreat to a more advantageous tactical position. Inside the metro tunnels, I find some raiders, but they're much easier to deal with than the regulators. After exterminating every single one of these pests, I enter the mall in downtown DC, which has the second highest concentration of super mutants in the game. Number 1 is Vault 87, and that place has a pretty interesting story, which I shall cover later in a story mission. The first thing I see after emerging from the tunnels is 3 super mutants, and this is just the appetizer. My combat shotgun is extremely deadly up close, but I'm losing a lot of health as I run up to these mutants who are armed with hunting rifles. In my hurry to get inside the National Archives, I nearly died to an exploding bus. Had I been one step closer, that would have killed me. Inside the National Archives, I find a fellow wanderer who has barricaded herself into the rotunda. Her name is Sydney, and we join forces to collect the Declaration of Independence. I need her help to make it past these hordes of super mutants. Turns out, she was also hired by Abraham Washington in Rivet City. The Declaration should be in the lower levels of this building, but getting there is tough because every room has at least 2 super mutants. And a lot of these are the Overlord variety, so they're heavily armored and take very little damage from my bullets. I've run out of assault rifle ammo, so it's time to use the SMG. Sydney's got a custom SMG that does more damage, and we can get it after finishing this quest. I hit level 14 with negative karma, which earns me the Harbinger of War trophy. Welcome to the dark side. I can feel its power flowing through me. In this room, I find a bunch of mines and booby traps hidden between these bookshelves. Super mutants aren't a bunch of mindless brutes. They employ basic tactics and are intelligent enough to rig traps in advantageous locations. With the light step perk, I won't have to worry about landmines or traps. But I don't have that right now, so I have to watch where I'm stepping.
This is the long way down to the east wing.
Sydney, I'm the main character. I decide where to go. Okay, I may have made an error in my judgment, but there's a quick way to fix this. There you go, all's well now. Well, guess she won't be needing that Ultra SMG after all. Yoink. In the East Wing, I'm attacked by robots. Brainiac over here thinks she can take me on, but I've got the robotics expert perk. And this sword. Sentry bots are much tougher, and for some reason they remind me of ABC Warriors from the 1980s Judge Dredd movie. I meet a custom Protectron who's named after the second person to sign the Declaration, Button Gwinnett. Originally designed to be a tour guide, he has now taken it upon himself to protect the Declaration from thieves and bandits. While I admire his dedication, I can't let this roleplay go on any longer, so I use my robotics expert perk and order him to shut down. The Declaration should be in this room, and there it is. In the safe next to it, I also find the Bill of Rights. Now I can return both of these to the Capital Preservation Society, where they will be displayed alongside other national artifacts. While returning, I stumble upon another priceless document, the Magna Carta. I wonder what this foundational piece of British history was doing in our national archives. Abraham Washington is happy to receive all these documents, so he gives me the schematics to build my own railway rifle, and over 500 caps. I also leveled up to 15 and got the Stealing Independence trophy. Perfect. We're making great progress towards the platinum. Mora tells me about an android who escaped the Commonwealth. Sounds like the same guy Dr. Zimmer mentioned back in Rivet City. She doesn't believe these things actually exist. I press her for more info, and she hands me a holotape containing a request for help from the android.
Because this recording puts us both.
He sounds just like a human. How does the Commonwealth possess the technology to create a synthetic human being? Every robot I've met in this world is immediately identifiable by its mechanical voice and lack of any emotion. But this one? Is he even a machine? Maybe he's like those androids from Blade Runner, just as human as you or me. If this android exists, the best place to learn more is Rivet City. More specifically, Dr. Pinkerton, who is the only person in DC capable of performing facial reconstruction surgery, which is what the android went through. Well, that's a bummer. He doesn't want to talk about the android. Maybe someone else can tell me where he is. Dr. Preston runs Rivet City's clinic, so I'll go ask him.
Facial surgery is way too dangerous to try. Need special equipment.
Nope, he doesn't know anything about facial reconstruction other than the fact that it needs special equipment. Just as I was beginning to run out of ideas, I decided to stop by the clinic in Megaton. On the doctor's desk, I found this holotape in which the android thanks someone for referring him to Pinkerton in Rivet City. Jackpot! Now the game will let me ask Pinkerton about the secret operation he did on the android. Pinkerton happily tells me all about the surgery. Alright, it may or may not have involved the muzzle of my assault rifle, but let's not get hung up on the details like that. Right now, the android has no memory of his past and calls himself Harkness. He works as Rivet City's security chief, so I'll try my best to remind him of his past without ending up in a casket. So I don't know how to tell you this, but you're a robot and your entire life is a lie. He refuses to believe me until I show him the before and after pictures. I must say, you look a lot better with hair on your head. Pinkerton also gave me a holotape recording of the android before his operation. Harkness is dumbfounded, but being the good Samaritan that I am, I assure him that his secret is safe with me. This finishes the quest and earns me the Replicated Man trophy. Harkness also gives me his personal plasma rifle, which does more damage than the regular ones you get from Enclave troops. With the android quest wrapped up, I head towards Big Town. It's actually quite small, and is populated by like 6 people, but you need something positive to motivate you during these hard times, and if it's the name of your town, so be it. The guard at the entrance isn't happy to see me, but I assure him that I'm just here to look around, and maybe steal some stuff, but he doesn't need to know that. The next person I meet is a quirky redhead called Bittercup.
Finally, someone who doesn't judge me.
Yeah, I can't imagine why people don't want to hang around you. Hey, you want to tell me about the super mutants attacking your town?
Ever wonder what it would be like to slit your wrist?
Wow, you must be the resident edgelord. I tell her to get therapy and ask for the location of her kidnapped friends. If I get there right now, some of them might be still alive. For my next trick, I'll make this super mutant's gun disappear. Ta-da! This place used to be a police HQ. Now it's a playground for giant mutated freaks. As I turn around this corner, I walk into a super mutant brute, and he walks into a 12-gauge facelift. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. There's another super mutant right here, but his mind cannot comprehend the skill needed to circumnavigate 2 tables, so he gets stuck and dies. Inside the super mutant base, I find the prison cells, and soon I meet the prison warden, a super mutant overlord. Dumping an entire mag of shotgun shells into his head only pisses him off, and once I destroy his gun, he goes into Hulk smash mode. Annoyingly, one of his underlings is attacking me with a gun, but I can't get to him without killing this big fella. Damn bro, chill. Tell me where I can get muscles like that. You guys have a gym in here or something? After what seemed like an eternity, he finally falls to my sword. Death by 1,000 cuts. Now that the prison warden is dead, I can free the prisoner. Right after I loot all this stuff. All right, lady, you're free. Now stick really close to me so we can step on these landmines together.
We can talk.
Perfect! Not only do I escort Red back to Big Town, but I also fix up a few robot defenders to keep the place safe from future mutant attacks. The game rewards me with positive karma and the Big Trouble trophy. Neat! My next journey takes me to Canterbury Commons, where I find 2 morons fighting with each other. One is a dollar store version of Ant-Man and calls herself the Ant Agonizer. Yeah, real funny. The other is some kind of robot junkie and calls himself the Mechanist. Caught between these 2 are the innocent townsfolk. They asked me to stop this madness because it's scaring away all the merchants. I head to the Canterbury Tunnels, which is the Ant Agonizer's home. There she is, sitting on her little throne. I walk up and try to talk some sense into that thick skull of hers, but she is hell-bent on world domination. Something, mankind is stupid, war bad, ants are so much better, blah blah blah. Anyway, I put an end to her ambitions with a few rounds from my assault rifle. Some of her underlings rush in to avenge their fallen queen, but they meet the same fate. And with that, the quarrel is settled and the townsfolk are finally free. I get the Superhuman Gambit trophy for killing a wannabe supervillain. Back in Moriarty's saloon, I get a quest from Lucy West, who wants me to deliver a message to her family in the Arafu settlement. She's been trying to contact them for months, but they haven't replied back. Sorry, Lucy, I think your family hates you. But since you're paying me, I might as well deliver your message. On the Arafu overpass, I nearly get killed by a crazy old man called Evan, who's the only one defending this place. He tells me a group of delinquents who call themselves the Family have been terrorizing the settlement and stealing stuff from the locals. Recently, they killed all the cows. Then he asks me to check up on their residents, because clearly knocking on doors and asking questions is way more dangerous than fighting super mutants and giant bugs. So I chat with the locals, and every single one of them is on edge. They aren't exactly friendly, and I can understand why. These guys have lost most of their belongings, and now that the cows are dead, they have no way to make money. Okay, this must be Lucy's home. Holy crap, they're dead! While my medical skill isn't high enough to do a deep analysis, initial observations suggest that they were killed by some kind of animal. There's bite marks going all the way down to the bone. Clearly they were mauled to death, but there's a surprising lack of blood on the bed sheets. I wonder what creature could have done something like this. Evan tells me there was a boy in that house, who must have been kidnapped by the family. I better go find him since he's Lucy's only living relative. I track the family down to a tunnel network underneath the Moresti train yard. Robert here is on watchman duty, but I use my talk no jutsu to convince him that I'm not a threat. Vance is the boss man here, and the founder of this weird group. Apparently, these guys have a unique kind of mutation that forces them to drink blood. Yeah, they're basically vampires, but not the lame Twilight kind because they don't glow in the sun. Vance has locked a boy in some kind of mediation chamber and won't allow anyone inside. But you know me, I have exceptional oratory skills. After winning a speech battle, I get the password to enter the locked room. That must be Ian, Lucy's younger brother. Ian tells me that he killed his parents after going into a feeding frenzy. He was unable to control himself, and his animalistic side took over. The guilt of his actions weighs heavily on Ian, and he wishes to live in seclusion so he doesn't harm anyone else. Vance took Ian so he could train him to control his urges. But staying here won't solve anything, so I give Lucy's message to Ian, and he agrees to come with me. I also make a deal with Vance to keep Arafu safe. They provide blood packs to the family, and in return, the family keeps them safe from invaders and bandits. Vance also gives me the schematics for the shish kebab, which is a flaming sword. Now that's what I call a happy ending. I give the news to Evan and Arafu, completing the quest. This earns me the Blood Ties trophy and some positive karma. East of Vault 92 is a place known by the locals as Oasis. In this irradiated wasteland, Oasis is one of the few settlements with a thriving biome. There are trees everywhere, and I can even hear birds chirping in the distance. I wonder what happened here to create something like this. It's almost magical. And why are the residents of Oasis wearing these weird costumes? Tree Father Birch tells me that I've been summoned by him. Who is he? I don't know, but to meet him, I must undergo a purification ritual and drink some special tree sap to remove evil from my body. Whoever he is, these people worship him like he's some kind of god.
Drink from the basin if you wish to meet him.
Okay, so far so good. I'm not sprouting any tree branches from my ass, so I'm probably gonna live. All right, Tree Father, let's go see this deity you worship. Well, a talking tree? Wait a minute, is that a guy inside?
Glad to see you're finally awake.
Yeah, man, that tree sap tasted awful. Don't you guys have beer around here? Turns out the guy is stuck inside a tree. He is Harold, and the tree growing all over him is Bob. Harold was exposed to some kind of forced evolutionary virus back in the Mariposa military base, and now he's turned into this. The tree miners worship him because he turned this patch of deserted wasteland into an oasis, but Harold is living a miserable life. He wants me to put him out of his misery, and I accept his request. Tree Father Birch gives me some sap that will stop Harold's heart from beating. His wife, Leaf Mother Laurel, gives me an accelerant that will have the opposite effect. It will make Harold's heart grow stronger and increase the potency of his powers. Harold's heart is underground inside a cave network. On my way there, I encounter a few Mirelurks. At this stage, they aren't a serious threat anymore. Even the Mirelurk King goes down to my shock sword. Just a bit further, and there's the heart. I'm going to destroy it because doing so will give me a mutation that increases my damage resistance by 5%. Goodbye, Harold. May you rest in peace. After reporting to Tree Father Birch, my quest is completed and I get the Oasis trophy. Oasis was a great place, but where I'm about to go next is the complete opposite. It's Paradise Falls. Used to be a huge shopping mall before the war, but now it's a place where you can buy and sell slaves. Yeah, things are about to get spicy real fast. Grouse, the slaver at the entrance, tells me that you can't enter Paradise Falls unless you're a slave or someone selling slaves. I need this trophy, so I choose to become a slave trader for Grouse, and he provides me with a stun gun. Once I use it on someone, they go into a dizzy state, and I can put a smart collar on their neck. If they try to run away, it explodes. But wait, there's more. My first victim. I choose the same woman I rescued from the super mutants back in Big Town, Red. She's the town's medical specialist, and without her, people are gonna start dying. So I use my very questionable surgical expertise to stitch up a young patient lying on the operation table. You feeling okay, pal? Any missing organs? Excellent. Now pay up because I don't work for free. After turning Red over to the slavers in Paradise Falls, I grabbed Flack from Rivet City. Grouse has provided me with a list of VIPs who will fetch a huge price on the slave market. I feel like a total scumbag, but don't worry, once I have the trophy, I'm getting these people out of Paradise Falls. After handing Flack over to Grouse, I get the trophy Strictly Business. Excellent. Now I've shown these guys that I mean business, so they'll let me enter Paradise Falls. Inside Paradise Falls is the slave pen. Oh god, they even have kids in here. Squirrel, one of the kids, tells me that there's a terminal these slaves use to activate the explosive collars. It's in Eulogy's room. He's the guy who runs this whole operation. While searching for the computer, I find the speech bobblehead, which permanently increases my speech skill by 10 points. If I find a few more bobbleheads, I'll get a trophy. Let's try hacking into this terminal. No luck. I can't shut off the collars from here, but I can add a new node to the network. And done. Now I just have to create a distraction so Squirrel can sneak out and get to the main computer. Hey man, they must be paying you well. I mean, this is a difficult job watching over all those slaves.
What the hell do you care?
Oh, I was just wondering, since you work so hard, you must be getting more money than the other guards. Perfect, that idiot won't be around for a while. Squirrel sneaks out and turns off the explosive collars, so the slaves are free to run away as soon as they see an opening. I meet him outside, and this completes the quest, earning me the Rescue from Paradise trophy. Let's go! Freeing the slaves from Paradise Falls has put a dent in the slavers' business, but this isn't enough. I need to make sure the freed slaves have a place to call home. So I head to the Temple of the Union, which is a hideout for escaped slaves. Their leader, Hannibal, tells me that they've been on the run and are looking for a place where they can build a settlement and start a new life. And where better to do so than the Lincoln Memorial, a shrine to the man who ended slavery in America. Unfortunately, the Lincoln Memorial is located right next to the mall, which has been overrun by mutants. I immediately head there to fix the mutant problem, which wasn't too hard. This mutant overlord is tanky, but he's way too big to fit through these pillars. Come on, big guy, I'm right in front of you. And he goes down. His colleagues don't fare any better, and they drop dead a lot faster. Before the slaves can occupy the Lincoln Memorial, we need to do a little home renovation because right now the place is in ruins. If I can grab a picture of the Lincoln Memorial from the Museum of History, the Temple of the Union will be able to rebuild it, at least partially. They have Caleb Smith, who's a talented stonemason who just needs a pre-war reference photo of the memorial. It's a good idea to put on my ghoul mask because this place is filled with the nasty creatures and I don't want to waste my limited ammo reserves. Let's see, the picture should be somewhere over here. Found it! Now I'll go ahead and check the memorial to see if it's clear of super mutants. Well, there's no super mutants to be found here, but it's occupied by slavers, the last thing those escaped slaves want to see in their new home. So I do a bit of house cleaning with my shock sword. There, much better now. Back at the Temple of the Union, I tell Hannibal that the Lincoln Memorial is now mutant-free. I also hand over the pre-war picture of the Lincoln Memorial to Caleb so he can restore it to its former glory. Once Hannibal and the rest of the slaves arrive at the memorial, my quest is completed and I receive the Head of the State trophy along with the weapon schematics for the dart gun. Now the slaves of the Wasteland finally have a place they can call home. Near the Lincoln Memorial, in the Museum of History, there's a secret ghoul city called the Underworld. Well, it's more like one hall and 3 rooms, but you get the idea. Inside this city is a bard called the Ninth Circle of Hell, who used to be a human in Rivet City just 20 years ago. One day, he was exposed to a lethal dose of radiation and underwent his transformation into a ghoul. Since then, he's been persecuted and hunted by humans, causing him to develop a hatred for our entire species. Except for me, because Crawley figures I can help him hunt down a list of bigots who've wronged him in the past.
You don't have anything against killing, do you?
The day isn't complete until I've killed something. I mean, sure, if it's for the right cause. Oh, and I'll get extra if I kill them with headshots, which is why he hands me this sniper rifle. As proof, I'll have to bring back a personal belonging from each of these people. Alistair Tenpenny died back when I helped Roy Phillips with his Ghoul Rebellion, so I only have 3 bounties left to collect: Dukov, Ted Strayer, and Dave. First up is Dave, who started his own cult in which he's some kind of president and everyone has to obey whatever he says or they die. I could just shoot him in the head right here and now, but since I've got maxed out speech skills, I'll use my words to sweet talk this clown into giving up one of his personal belongings. Yes! Before leaving, I'll just go into his shack here and grab the perception bobblehead. Alright, bigot number 2 is Ted Strayer, and he's in Rivet City's marketplace. Hey man, what's up? Does the name Crawley ring a bell?
Whoa, that's a blast from the past.
Yep, he sent me here to kill you. Any last words? Ted takes one look at my gear and realizes that he wants no part of this, so he hands over the key without making a fuss. Now it's time to meet Dukov and get the final key. Dukov's place is a pleasure house where tired adventurers can spend a few caps and enjoy a good time. Yep, I can smell the STDs in the air, or is it drugs? Anyway, I meet Dukov, who looks and talks like an old Russian mafia boss. After winning a speech battle, I get the key from him and return to Crawley, where my quest is completed and I receive the gotta shoot him in the head trophy. My next quest takes me to this shack in the middle of nowhere. This old lady is Agatha, and she comes from a long line of classical musicians and lives all alone in this house built by her husband, who is now dead. Merchants pay Agatha for her music, and she's one of the few remaining radio hosts in this wasteland. But her current violin is built from scraps, so she asked me to retrieve her daughter's violin from Vault 92. It's a priceless one-of-a-kind violin, and I'll get a trophy for returning it to her. Initially, this felt like a simple fetch quest, but little did I know that the way to Vault 92 would be full of death claws. I killed at least 4 of these overgrown lizards during my journey, even getting into a melee fight with one of them. I love Jingwei's sword, it's so awesome. Even though I'm low on healing and ammo, I decide to YOLO it and rush into Vault 92. This place is crawling with Mirelurks, but I gradually open a path through the corridors and into the recording room, which has the violin. I also get the trophy for picking 50 locks. Returning the violin to Agatha gives me the trophy Agatha's Song, and I get the frequency to her radio station as a bonus reward. To get the Platinum Trophy in Fallout 3, I must hit level 20 with all 3 karma types, evil, neutral, and good. But that doesn't mean I have to do 3 different playthroughs. I already have positive karma, so I can just create a save inside Megaton and go on a murderous rampage until my karma becomes negative. Then I'll do the same thing to get the trophy for neutral karma. Okay, so this is my evil run. I just walk in and start shooting everything that breathes air. Even the cow isn't safe for my psychotic rage. Jericho, Sims, Nathan, my gun is rated E for everyone. After massacring every single life form in a 1-mile radius, I step outside to reflect upon my actions. Nah, I'm just waiting for my PS3 to load my trophy because it takes a long time. And there it is. I'm the scourge of humanity. For my neutral run, I'll do the same thing, but instead of killing everyone, I'll be more selective. Cromwell gets it because I'm tired of him yapping about his stupid Church of the Atom. Nathan because he won't shut up about President Eden. And that should do it. Let's go outside. And there you have it, level 20 with neutral karma. This time I earned the Paradigm of Humanity trophy. All I had to do was wipe out half a town and now I'm a Paradigm. A role model for others to follow. Getting the good karma trophy will require a little bit more work. First, I head to the supermart and meet Brian Wilkes, a kid who's lost his family to a group of giant fire-breathing ants. He lives nearby in Grey Ditch, which is now infested with these mutated ants. I kill a few of them to hit level 20, and there's my trophy for good karma. I'm the last best hope for humanity. There's another trophy for completing the fire ant questline and helping Brian, so that's what I'll do for now. I take a look inside Brian's house, and it's a total mess. His father died in a fight against the fire ants. Since everyone else in Grey Ditch has either escaped or been eaten by the fire ants, I need to find Brian a home. But before that, I must get to the source of this fire ant mutation and find a solution before it spreads to other parts of the wasteland. These creatures seem to be emerging from the Marigold metro station near Grey Ditch. I head inside and the entire place is crawling with these fire-breathing bugs. Killing them is easy. Just grab a melee weapon like the shock sword and keep strafing in circles. The ants turn very slowly and can only breathe fire in objects directly in front of them. Deep in the metro tunnels, I find Dr. Lesko's lab. He is the one responsible for creating these abominations. In his attempt to fix the mutation of normal ants, he made certain genetic modifications, but something went wrong. And instead of becoming smaller, these ants now secrete pyrophoric venom that catches fire as soon as it comes into contact with air, Great job, Doc. What's next, turning a Deathclaw into Godzilla? As much as I'd like to kill the Ant Queen and stop these things from multiplying, the Doctor has different plans. He wants to use an inhibitor pulse, which will cause the fire ants to frenzy and kill each other. But it won't affect the Queen, so he can continue his experiments and create a cure that turns these monsters into regular-sized ants. Given his track record, I don't have much faith in Lesko. But if things do go his way, I'll get a perk that boosts my perception and fire resistance. Getting to the Queen was really easy. I just had to kill 5 Guardian Ants that weren't much stronger than the regular warriors. Once I returned to Lesko and gave him the news, he rewarded me with a lab coat and the Ant Sight perk. As for Brian, his Aunt Vera Weatherly runs a hotel in Rivet City. I tell her about Brian's predicament, and she happily agrees to take him in. I give Brian the good news in his old home at Grey Ditch, and this concludes the quest, earning me a trophy. My next target is the Riley's Rangers trophy. To initiate this quest line, I'll have to wake up Riley, who's lying on a bed in the underworld chop shop. Dr. Barrels tells me she is heavily injured, with multiple lacerations, contusions, and broken bones. But I don't want to wait, so I tell the doc to wake her up right now. He injects her with what I assume to be horse steroids, and she kicks out of the bed like John Cena on a 2 count.
How long have I been out?
Long enough for Valve to release Half-Life 3? Nah, just kidding, they'd never do that. In any case, you're lucky, Riley, you weren't out for that long. Just don't mind the broken legs, internal bleeding, and contusions, and you'll be just fine. Riley leads a mercenary company, one of the best in the entire wasteland. She was mapping the area near Vernon Square when her team was hit by a super mutant ambush. Many of her men died on the spot, and a few made it up to the hotel roof, but they're probably running low on ammo by now. I'm a one-man army, so I assure Riley that everything will be fine, as long as she can keep the caps flowing. With the location marked on my Pip-Boy, I take a quick sneak peek for some extra motivation.
You won't get away with that.
And head out into the wasteland. Since I haven't discovered Vernon Square, the quickest way there is through the subway tunnels in Museum Station. A few raiders drop by to say hello and give me loot. As I open this underground passageway, a glowing one runs out and begins preaching about the Church of Adam. I'm not interested in his scriptures, so I put him to sleep and move on. Inside Freedom Street Station, I encountered more ghouls, but my plasma rifle turns them into heaps of molten flesh. Oh, looks like we've arrived at the crime scene. Now we just need to find Riley's men, who should be on the roof of a nearby hospital. This super mutant tries to duel me on a wooden plank, but my superior aimbot skills sends him flying down into a pile of rubble. Inside the hospital where Riley's men are holed up, I run into an enemy much stronger than any super mutant, Bethesda Spaghetti Code. While trying to kill this centaur, my game freezes and I'm at the mercy of the autosave because I didn't do a manual save as soon as I entered the hospital. Thankfully, the autosave worked and I'm back inside the hospital. Killing this centaur earns me the Slayer of Beasts trophy, as I've now killed 300 creatures in the wasteland. A pair of super mutants try to attack me, but I employ the 200 IQ technique of climbing on a bed. Yeah, folks, melee enemies in this game will derp out if you climb onto something. Could be a bed, a table, a rock, it doesn't matter. Since this is a hospital, there are plenty of medical supplies lying around. I use this chance to stock up on healing and damage resistance. On my way to the roof, I fight and kill several super mutants. The combat shotgun excels in close quarter engagements. It's shredding through these super mutants like a hot knife through butter. Didn't your mom tell you to wear a helmet? Another dumbass shows up with a machete, but I splatter his brains all over the floor. His friend in the back tries to shoot at me, but ends up walking into his own booby trap. I find one of Riley's mercenaries next to a super mutant. He's missing his head, but all the ammo in this crate looks intact. Collecting the ammo completes my optional objective. Now I just have to find the guys who are still alive. On the level above this one, I come across a super mutant, Overlord. Overlords are always a challenge because of how much HP they have, but this one is especially dangerous because he's armed with a tri-beam laser rifle. I maintain my distance and take cover behind corners, popping out occasionally to take pop shots at his head with my SMG. After dumping 200 rounds of 10mm into him, I realize that he's still alive, so I decide to pull out the high explosives. 9 frag grenades later, he's still walking. I finish him off with my assault rifle and take his weapon. Just 5 minutes later, I'm attacked by another super mutant, Overlord. The two of us have a minigun duel, but I'm outgunned. I have a regular minigun, while he has the laser minigun, which does more damage. Midway through the fight, my minigun breaks, and I'm forced to fight this guy with my sword. Fortunately, he was already quite low on health, and went down after a couple of swings. Thanks for the laser minigun, bro. Finally, I've made it to the roof, and I can hear gunfire in the distance. That's good news, because it means Riley's men are still alive and fighting the super mutants. I need to get there fast. Wait, what? No problem. let's try this again. Up the stairs, I find Riley's men and a truckload of dead super mutants. Holy crap, you guys did all this? Do you even need my help, or do I go tell Riley that all's good?
Hey, is she okay?
Yeah, other than the severe internal bleeding, broken legs, and lacerations, she's totally fine. Oh, and by the way, I almost killed her by forcing the ghoul doc to wake her up prematurely.
Okay, now, who the heck are you, and when are reinforcements coming?
I am your reinforcement, and I've already exterminated the entire super mutant population of downtown DC, so you've got no need to worry. I escort Riley's squad out of the building and clear a path to the Ranger compound, which is their base. Inside, I meet Riley, and she's very impressed with my work. I get the Ranger battle armor from her and complete the quest, earning the Riley's Ranger's trophy. Since I've completed all the necessary side quests, I can now focus on the main story. After that, I'll do the DLCs and collect those trophies as well. First, I'll head to Galaxy News Radio and meet Three Dog, who will tell me more about my father. On my way in Chevy Chase, I come across Sarah Lyons, who is the leader of the Lions Pride. They are the most elite squad in the East Coast chapter of the Brotherhood. This is my first story-related encounter with the Brotherhood, and Sarah will be an important character later in the story. She tells me to get lost, as if she can't see that I'm decked out with gear most of her squad haven't even heard of, let alone seen in person. I tag along and kill some super mutants with Sarah until we run into this guy. These guys are extremely deadly and can kill me in just a couple of hits, so I'll use the Brotherhood troopers as distractions while I load up my Fat Man. This is a mini nuclear launcher that shoots tactical nukes. I picked it up off a dead Brotherhood soldier, and it has the second highest damage of any weapon in the game, surpassed only by the experimental MIRV, which is the same thing, but instead of shooting one nuke, it shoots 8. I need to create some distance so I don't get caught in the blast, and bombs away! It takes 4 nukes for the behemoth to go down, which tells you how absurdly strong these things are. Later, I'll hunt down all remaining behemoths in the game to get a trophy. Since I helped the Brotherhood defend GNR, they let me inside and I meet Three Dog, the most popular radio jockey in DC. He tells me that Dad came here not too long ago. But before I can get any more info, I have to fix one of Three Dog's transmission towers so his voice can reach people outside DC. The super mutants destroyed his satellite dish, so I'll have to grab a spare one from a lunar lander in the Museum of Technology. Accepting Three Dog's quest gives me a trophy, and now it's time to grab that satellite dish from the museum. The Museum of Technology is right next to the mall, which is super mutant territory. I make my way inside after killing a few of them, and guess what I find? That's right, even more super mutants. What do you mean, enemy variety? We don't do that here. You'll kill 1,000 super mutants, and you'll like it. I walked through a demo model of a vault, which brought back some unpleasant memories. They even have a classroom with a mock version of the goat playing on the projector. Next to this vault is the museum's west wing, which contains the lunar lander. I kill some more super mutants and grab the satellite dish. Now it's time to install this thing on the Washington Monument, so Three Dog can broadcast his annoying voice to even more people. At this point, I've run out of assault rifle ammo and barely have any 10mm left for the SMG, so I switched to my laser rifle. Outside, I head towards the Washington Monument and run straight through a super mutant outpost, ignoring the hailstorm of bullets they're throwing at me. So you guys gonna open it or what? Never mind, I found the terminal. I ride the elevator to the top, where I get a bird's eye view of the now ruined Capitol building. After installing the satellite dish, I return to Three Dog. Since I did my part for the good fight, he tells me that my father went to visit Dr. Lee in Rivet City. He also mentioned a Project Purity, but I don't know what that is right now. This completes the quest, and I get the Galaxy News Radio trophy. In Rivet City, Dr. Lee tells me that she used to work with my dad on a water purification project whose goal was to supply the entire wasteland with fresh, radiation-free water. Every vault has something similar, but nobody has ever tried it on a scale this massive. With pure radiation-free water, restoring human society to its former glory would no longer be a pipe dream. It would massively benefit agriculture, and we could export this water to nearby cities in exchange for valuable supplies. But progress came to a halt after I was born. Dad took me into a vault to keep me safe, and the Brotherhood couldn't spare any resources to guard the facility because of the rapidly increasing super mutant threat. With the lead researcher gone and no protection, the project was abandoned. My dad left the vault once I was an adult, because he knew I could take care of myself and went to restart work on Project Purity. Mom was also a researcher, and it was her dream to one day see the lakes and streams of this wasteland filled with pure water. Right now, I'm headed to Project Purity to see if I can find my dad over there. Unfortunately, all I find inside the Project Purity building is super mutants. but my dad left some holodisc recordings that talk about his search for a super advanced piece of technology called the GEC. This is a terraforming machine designed before the war by Vault-Tec, so Vault settlers could rebuild a thriving biome in the middle of an irradiated wasteland. Like the magical tree mutation that Harold had, minus the drawbacks. Dad's in Vault 112, looking for Stanislav Braun, a genius scientist who might have some clue on where to find this mythical GEC device. I go inside Vault 112, but it's totally empty. Where is everyone? This robot tells me to put on a Vault 112 suit and to sit inside the Tranquility Lounger, whatever that is. As soon as I get in, and I fall into a hypnotic state. What sort of trickery is this? Now I'm in a black and white simulation of a 1950s suburb, where everyone seems so peaceful and happy. I get the scientific pursuits trophy, but right now I'm more concerned with getting out of this simulation and finding my dad. Betty, the girl in the playground, tells me to make a kid cry. Odd request, but I'll do it. I walk up to little Timmy, who's got a lemonade stand, and I tell him that his parents are getting a divorce because of him. I know, harsh thing to say to a kid, but none of this is real. And it seems like Betty holds the key to getting out of here, so I'll do whatever she says for now. A woman tells me that the key to getting out of here lies inside an abandoned house. Should be this one right here. Inside, I find a few interactable objects that make a musical tune whenever I use them. If I get the sequence right, I should be able to open the door into the real world. There we go. Turns out Betty is actually Dr. Braun, the scientist my dad came here to meet. He must have put my dad in one of these pods. Activating the simulation failsafe will kill all the residents of Vault 112 who are sleeping in these pods, except for me and my dad. But it's better to put them out of their misery than leave them here to rot. Braun doesn't deserve to treat people as his playthings, so I trigger the failsafe, which simulates a Chinese invasion of the suburb, killing everyone. Then the pod doors open and I meet my dad.
But what are you doing here?
Who's both surprised to see me and thankful that I rescued him. We have a little father and son moment. Dad explains that he's going to Rivet City. I agree to help him with Project Purity because Dad's helped me for the past 19 years. And because I want the plot to move forward. Hey, look at that, the Tranquility Lane trophy. We're now one step closer to finishing the main story. In the Rivet City Science Lab, my dad tries to convince Dr. Lee that Project Purity can work. All it needs is the GEC module. Hey, you guys know there's a whole room here you can use, right? You don't have to stand there between the lockers, Dr. Lee. Oh well, whatever. Once the eggheads have finished their discussion, I head to Project Purity so I can clear out any remaining threats, because scientists aren't very good at fighting supermutants. An overlord shows up, but I've got no time for his bullshit, so I send him to the nether realm with a tactical nuke. I go through each level, exterminating supermutants like cockroaches in a kitchen. The last supermutant is around this corner, and he's dead. I meet up with Dad and tell him that the facility is now safe.
Is it safe in there?
Yes, Dad, I've killed everything with a pulse. Before we can restart Project Purity, we need to repair the power supply. For that, I'll have to turn on the flood pumps and drain out all excess water. Dad guides me through the intercom system, and once I turn on the flood pumps, he asks me to return to the rotunda so he can hand me some fuses for the fuse box. With the fuses installed, the facility is ready for action. I go to the mainframe and switch on the central computer system. But there's still a little issue. Something is blocking one of the inlet pipes, so I've got to crawl in and manually drain the whole thing. Right as I'm exiting the pipes, I notice some helicopters. Inside the rotunda, I find Enclave troopers. All these guys have power armor, just like the Brotherhood of Steel, but it's more advanced. They also have better weapons. I just hope my dad is safe. Oh no, they're holding Dad at gunpoint. The Enclave colonel tells Dad to start the purifier, but he refuses. So the colonel kills a scientist to show that he means business. My dad would rather die than turn the love of his life over to these scumbags. And that's what he does. Instead of turning the purifier on, he floods the control room with a lethal dose of radiation. No, Dad, don't leave me again! Dr. Lee and her teammates are the only ones who can get this thing running if we return here in the future. So I escort them out of the facility through an emergency exit in the tunnels. There are Enclave troopers down here as well, along with some ghouls. A bunch of Enclave a-holes ambush me in this room, so I take care of them with a nuke. Nuclear power is the ultimate answer to everything in the Vault universe. Don't like your neighbors? Use a nuke. Is your dog annoying you? Nuke him. Want to solve world hunger? You guessed it, nukes. Even Project Purity uses nuclear power to supply fresh water. The tunnels take us to the Citadel, which is the Brotherhood HQ. From now on, these guys will officially be our allies in restarting Project Purity because we don't want the Enclave controlling such technology. I get the Waters of Life trophy for escorting Dr. Lee and her team into the Brotherhood base, and now it's time to acquire a GECK module so we can turn my dad's dream into reality. Very few vaults were equipped with a GECK, so we need to find an old Vault Tech terminal and go through its records. The Citadel A-Ring has such a terminal, and it tells me that Vault 87 was equipped with a GECK. Perfect. Now I just need to find this vault. The head scribe in the Citadel, Scribe Rothschild, points me to the location on a map and tells me that the Brotherhood scouts have always avoided Vault 87 because of its high radiation levels. But that won't stop me from going inside. The path to Vault 87 is right behind a cave system populated exclusively by children. They have a unique societal structure down here, and once a kid turns 18, he's forced to leave. I learned from the kids that Vault 87's door is hidden behind Murder Pass. It's called Murder Pass because of the super mutant death squads who populate this place. These mutants might scare away the kids, but they're no match for me. I kill a dozen super mutants on my way to the Vault 87 door, and the final boss is a super mutant overlord. He almost kills me, but I get the bright idea of sidestepping this big idiot and running straight into Vault 87. Live to fight another day, as they say. And there's the door to Vault 87. I popped the trophy for discovering this place. Now let's head inside, grab that GECK, and get the hell out because I've had my fill of super mutants for a long time. Inside, there are a few super mutants, but not as many as I expected. And I can't see any of the vault residents. Certain parts of Vault 87 have extremely high levels of radiation. It's almost like the elephant's foot in Chernobyl. The floor is littered with human skeletons and bloodstains, but I don't know who or what killed these poor souls. As I go through the computer terminals, I learned something really disturbing. Vault 87 was tasked with conducting research on the Forced Evolutionary Virus, or FEV. This was supposed to take humanity into the next phase of evolution. Instead, it created super mutants. Vault 87 is the breeding ground for these despicable monsters, and it all began with a bunch of well-meaning but horribly misguided scientists. I'm assuming these mutants are the ones who killed the vault residents. Deeper inside the vault, I find FEV testing rooms. One of them has a really unique specimen inside. Meet Fox, the super mutant who talks. Fox is an anomaly because he managed to retain his human intellect despite transforming into a super mutant. He has spent his entire life locked up in this room and is desperate to be set free. I agree to free Fox, and he promises to retrieve the GECK for me. If I try to do it myself, I might die from the massive amounts of radiation in the room where the GECK is installed. But since Fox is a super mutant, his body is extremely hardened against radiation, and it will be like a stroll in the park for him. All I have to do is hack into a computer terminal at the end of this hallway, and it will unlock every single cell door. But some of these cells contain centaurs, so I'll eliminate them first. In the control room, there are two super mutants guarding the console. I kill them and trip the fire alarm, which opens all cell doors. Fox is overjoyed to be outside the cell for the first time in his life and proceeds to clear a path for me. Two super mutant overlords show up, but they don't last long against our combined strength. Fox asks me to stay outside this door because there's a lot of radiation beyond this point. After a couple minutes, he emerges with a GECK and hands it over to me. Thanks, big guy. You're actually pretty nice for a super mutant.
Maybe we'll meet again somewhere in the wasteland.
Yeah, I hope so too. We could team up and kick some ass. Anyway, see you later, buddy. Wait, I thought my dad killed you in Project Purity. How the hell are you still alive? I wake up naked in an Enclave base, all tied up with an angry Colonel Autumn staring at me. He wants the activation code for the purifier. Yeah, the code is 1-800-GO-FUCK-YOURSELF. Right as I'm about to get shot, the president intervenes and orders Autumn to meet him. Autumn complies begrudgingly. Once I'm alone, the president unlocks my restraints and says that he wants to meet me. So I grab my gear and set off to meet this guy, whoever he is. I earn the Garden of Eden trophy because the president is called Eden and this is a garden. Not trying to judge, but Eden needs a lot more plants and a fewer Big Brother style cameras for this place to be called a garden. I walk past this Enclave trooper and he greets me. Hello. See, these guys aren't so bad. We just had a misunderstanding back in Project Purity. All's good now.
Shot on sight. This is an order.
Oh, come on. Can't we just be friends? Yet another place that I'll turn into a massive grave. I start shooting back and kill a few dozen Enclave soldiers on my way to President Eden's office. Inside Colonel Autumn's bedroom, I find the energy weapons bobblehead. which permanently increases my energy weapon skill by 10 points. There's some kind of civil war going on here because Eden's sentry bots are shooting their own guys. Maybe Colonel Autumn has mutinied against Eden? Inside, I meet the president, face to CRT display. He's a ZAX series computer, originally designed to govern vaults in the absence of human leadership. Since human civilization collapsed, Eden has collected massive amounts of data through his sensors and come up with the ultimate plan to fix this nation. He has created a modified FEV that will terminate all mutated life forms, and Eden plans to distribute this agent through Project Purity. Once we get the purifier running, Eden wants me to insert the FEV sample into the core. This will kill super mutants, ghouls, deathclaws, and even humans whose genetic sequence has been altered by radiation. Millions will die, but according to Eden, it'll be worth it. Clearly, this is an awful plan, and something that only a machine could dream up. I tell Eden that he should self-destruct for suggesting this blasphemy, and my superior speech skills win him over. He agrees to commit Sudoku as soon as I escape the facility, but dealing with Colonel Autumn will be up to me. I get out of the Enclave base, and look who's waiting outside. It's my boy Fox. And he's got a laser minigun. Hey buddy, good to see you again. Fox saw the Enclave thugs kidnap me and followed their helicopter all the way here. I don't know how they missed a 7-foot-tall bodybuilder following them for 50 miles, but I guess Fox is secretly a ninja. Since I have good karma, I can recruit Fox as my teammate. So I do that, and we celebrate our alliance by watching the Enclave base explode. This is the best fireworks show of all time. The funniest thing about this is that I'm literally walking into the Brotherhood base with a super mutant, and nobody asked any questions. They must really trust me around here. Inside, I find Sarah arguing with her father. She wants to assault the Enclave, but her father thinks it's too risky. And oh, what's that? Wow, that's a massive robot. Wonder if we can get it running.
Were you successful?
Well, sort of. I found it, but it's with the Enclave now. Look on the bright side, they still don't have the activation code. It's a 3-digit code, so they can probably crack it in like 15 minutes, but we shouldn't give up hope. Since the Enclave has the GEC, we can't afford to waste any time. Elder Lyons gives us permission to assault the Project B base and kill every single Enclave trooper that stands in our way. For a little extra firepower, and by that I mean the majority of our firepower, we'll take the Kami Crusher 3000, Liberty Prime. He's the giant robot over there with eye lasers and backpack nukes. Holy shit, this is gonna be awesome. Sarah inducts me into the Lion's Pride as an honorary member, so I'm officially part of the Brotherhood. Hey, Rothschild, you mind moving your giant head out of the way so I can talk to Sarah? With the assault plan ready, Liberty Prime is activated and I earn the American Dream Trophy. I can't wait to begin the next mission because it's both the last story mission and one of the most awesome missions in the entire game. This is it. Everything we've done until now has been building up to this moment. We're going to charge ahead and kick those Enclave assholes out of my dad's project. I've got Liberty Prime, Fox, and the Lion's Pride backing me up, so there's no way we're gonna lose.
Probability of mission entrance, 0%.
I love this giant robot. He's the coolest character in the entire game. None of us have to do anything. He's just shredding these Enclave soldiers with his eye lasers like Superman. And when the eye lasers don't get the job done, he grabs a nuke and throws it at the enemy. Liberty Prime doesn't need a launcher. His hands are more than enough. This Enclave soldier commits the cardinal sin of not patiently awaiting his turn to die and sneaks up on Liberty Prime, but his puny gun is about as effective as blowing out a wildfire. Near the Jefferson Memorial entrance, I find a squad of Enclave troopers in Hellfire armor and treat them to a pulse grenade colonoscopy. Inside Project Purity, I come across some more Enclave soldiers and clear them with the help of Sarah and Fox. Upon entering the rotunda, I come face to face with my nemesis, Colonel Autumn. Time to avenge my father's death and put an end to this scumbag's life. Rest in pieces. After I kill his 2 underlings, the path to the purifier controls is clear. But Dr. Lee gives me some bad news over the radio. The chamber still has lethal amounts of radiation, and any human who goes inside to activate the purifier will surely die. We can't wait for help because the pressure in the purifier's holding tanks is climbing up, and it could explode at any moment. Someone has to go in there right now and turn it on. Someone who can withstand levels of radiation that would be lethal to a normal human being. Someone like this big dude next to me.
What shall we do?
Thanks, Discount Hulk. Now go in there and enter the code. It's 216.
If you're still there, the purifier needs to be activated now. You don't have much time left.
Relax, Doc. My partner's entering the code right now. I just hope his fingers aren't too big for the console. We did it! The purifier actually works. This ends the main story, and I get a cutscene in which the game basically calls me a bitch for not sacrificing myself at the end. Sorry, but I have a platinum trophy to collect and I can't afford to die right now. An energy surge caused after the activation of the purifier knocked me out, and I wake up in the Brotherhood base. I've also earned the Take It Back trophy for reclaiming the purifier from Colonel Autumn's forces. Elder Lion requests my help in wiping out the remnants of the Enclave. I agree, and he inducts me into the Brotherhood as a knight. So I'm not an honorary member anymore, I'm a full-fledged knight. Awesome. The main story's over, but my adventures in the Wasteland shall continue. The first thing I'm going to do is head back to my home place, Vault 101. I just received a distress signal from Amada. She's saying that her father, the Overseer, has gone mad with power and is ruling over the vault with an iron fist. Wow, who would have guessed that a tyrant who brainwashes his subjects into worshipping him would do tyrant stuff? A truly astonishing revelation, I must say. I'm back in Vault 101. The place feels familiar, but with a hint of uneasiness in the air. It looks like a dystopian ghetto with barricades and graffiti. Officer Taylor almost kills Freddy, which tells me that people in here have no faith in each other. There's no trust, no sense of community. It's every man for himself. And half the people in this vault hate my guts because they think I'm responsible for this chaos, when it's clearly the Overseer who's ruined everything in his egotistical quest for absolute control. I meet the Overseer and use my speech skills to help him understand that if he doesn't open this vault, there simply aren't enough people to stay isolated forever. And with his goons murdering all the young rebels, this vault will soon become a tomb full of old skeletons. The Overseer realizes his mistakes and resigns from his position. The new Overseer of Vault 101 is Amada, and her first act as the new Overseer is kicking me out of the vault, because the residents of Vault 101 hate me. I hope I never see these ungrateful bastards out in the wasteland. Goodbye, Vault 101, thanks for nothing. After exiting the vault, I get the Trouble on the Homefront trophy. Glad to be done with that. For my next trophy, I'll have to give 30 bottles of Nuka-Cola Quantum to a woman called Sierra, who's a Nuka-Cola collector. I already have 17 in my inventory, just need 13 more. There are plenty of locations in the Fallout 3 map where you can get Nuka-Cola Quantum, and I'm going to visit these one by one until I have enough bottles. I don't want to bore you by showing every single bottle, it's just mostly me walking around from one spot to another. So let's just skip ahead to the part where I give the bottles to Sierra. This is her house, and it's filled with all kinds of Nuka-Cola merchandise. She tells me there's a Nuka-Cola club, and right now it only has 2 members, Sierra and her neighbor Ronald. But anyone who's a fan of Nuka-Cola is welcome to join. Sierra then offers to take me on a tour of her Nuka-Cola collection and hands me an ice-cold Nuka-Cola at the end. Delicious. Sierra tells me that she has the schematics for a Nuka grenade, and it could be mine if I bring her 30 bottles of the super rare Nuka-Cola Quantum flavor. Well, today's your lucky day, lady, because I just so happen to have 30 bottles of Nuka-Cola Quantum.
Yay!
On top of getting the Nuka-Cola trophy, I also get 1,280 caps, and I should also have the Nuka grenade schematic. Remember earlier when I said there's a trophy for building all 7 custom weapons? I just need one more schematic, and that's the Deathclaw Gauntlet schematic. I find it in a camper on the F. Scott campground. Sweet! Now I can buy a weapon bench from Mora and craft all these weapons in my house to get the trophy. But as soon as I open the weapons bench, I notice something is missing. The Nuka grenade schematics. Instead of 7 weapons, I only see 6 on my list. Looks like more glitchy code from Bethesda. Oh well, there are other ways to get the Nuka grenade schematic. One of these is inside a Yao Guai cave near the cliffside caverns. I enter the cave and head to the bottom level, which contains many angry bears. I put them down with my laser gun and find the Nuka grenade schematics next to a pile of human bones. All that's left to do is return to my house in Megaton and craft all the custom weapons to get the trophy. Here we are back at the workbench. I have the components and the schematics, so let's do this. I love the look of the shish kebab. And listen to the sound of the railway gun, it's hilarious. Just need to craft the rocket launcher and done. There's the weaponsmith trophy. Now I'll try to collect every single bobblehead. There's one trophy for collecting 10 and another for all 20. I'll also hunt down the remaining 4 super mutant behemoths to get the trophy, the bigger they are. I've already killed 1 behemoth near the GNR building in Chevy Chase. Behemoth number 2 is being held inside a raider base in Evergreen Mills. I go there and kill every single raider. Then I destroy the generator that powers his holding cell. With the electric fence off, he runs outside. I've got my fat man ready, but I really want to try out the shish kebab on this giant. I actually took him down with a fire sword. That felt amazing. Nearby in the Evergreen Mills Bazaar, I find the barter bobblehead. A higher barter skill means I'll get better prices from traders. Behemoth number 3 is in the Tacoma industrial area, and he'll appear as soon as I press this button. There he is. After wearing him down with my assault rifle, I slice through him with the Deathclaw gauntlet. And then I teabag him for extra disrespect. You got wrecked, noob. Our fourth behemoth is west of Jury Street Metro, and will appear as soon as I take this teddy bear out of the shopping cart. Anytime now. You know what? Let's take a quick nap. He's probably tired and will show up first thing in the morning. What did I tell you? Now let's go kill this guy. Since I like a fair fight, I'm gonna use my nuke. Don't worry, I'm just clearing away all the rad scorpions so I can let this be a proper 1v1. See, they're all gone now. I spent the next 5 minutes running backwards while testing out a variety of weapons on the behemoth. In the end, the good old shotgun drops him like a sack of potatoes. Quick teabag to assert dominance. All right, let's move on to the last behemoth. The fifth and final behemoth is near the Capitol building, but before I get him, I need to clear out all the other guys from this area. It's a total clusterfuck. We've got super mutants, Talon Company mercenaries, and a Deathclaw. Inside the Capitol, there are even more Talon mercenaries and super mutants. But I'm not here to kill these guys, I'm here for the behemoth. He's in the rotunda and at the center of the Capitol building. Right there. Let's kick things off with a fat man, straight to the balls. After that, it was as easy as dumping shotgun shells into his back, while the Talon Company mercs kept him distracted. And of course, we can't forget the complimentary teabag. There's my trophy for killing all 5 behemoths. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. My next mission is to finish collecting all 20 bobbleheads. In the Deathclaw Sanctuary, I find the Endurance bobblehead next to the rotting Brahmin corpse. The Charisma bobblehead is in Vault 108. You know what else is in Vault 108? Gary. Lots of him, in every single corner. Since all the Garys are attacking me, I won't lose any karma for killing them, even though they're technically civilians. That's a good thing because I get this trophy for killing 300 humans. A short while later, I also find the Charisma bobblehead on a table in the medical bay. Next is the Agility bobblehead in an office building within the Greener Pastures disposal site. With this, I've now got 10 bobbleheads in my possession, earning me the trophy, yes, I play with dolls. Because showing up at random locations just to collect bobbleheads is quite boring, I'll skip the tedious bits and fast forward through the next 10. Here's the Luck bobblehead, the Big Guns bobblehead, the Explosives bobblehead, the Lockpick bobblehead, the Melee Weapons bobblehead, the Repair bobblehead, the Science bobblehead, the Small Guns bobblehead, the Sneak bobblehead, the Unarmed bobblehead, and with all 20 bobbleheads collected, I get the Vault-Tec CEO trophy. Now there's just one thing left to do. There you go, much better. While searching for the Melee bobblehead in the Dunwich building, I hacked my 50th computer terminal, which earned me the Data Miner trophy. Dunwich is also where I hit level 30, the maximum level in the game. Just like before, I get a trophy for hitting level 30 with all 3 karma types. The first one is Messiah, rewarded for hitting level 30 with good karma. There's a very easy way to get the neutral karma trophy. Just pick the karmic rebalance perk when you level up, like this. And now I get the True Mortal trophy for hitting level 30 with neutral karma. To get the trophy for evil karma, I pick the Devil's Highway perk. This instantly sets my karma to very evil, earning me the Devil trophy. On a different character, I got the good karma trophy at level 8 by activating the failsafe in Tranquility Lane. Then I reloaded my save file and killed a bunch of people in Megaton to earn the Reaver trophy for hitting level 8 with negative karma. Now I just need the trophies for getting level 14 with both neutral and good karma. Getting the neutral karma trophy is actually quite easy. I went to Rivet City with a slightly negative karma score. Then I gave away a bunch of water bottles for free to Carlos in front of Rivet City. Each bottle raised my karma by a small amount until it was neutral. Then I gained just enough XP to level up, and there's my trophy for hitting level 14 with neutral karma. I help out a few more NPCs and also get the level 14 trophy for positive karma. To get the Psychotic Prankster trophy, I need to plant a grenade in someone's pocket. Brotherhood outcasts are the perfect candidate for this job since they're total assholes. In fact, they should feel pretty honored that I chose them to help me with this trophy challenge. Hey, stop running! Just let me pickpocket you. There, hold on to that. Perfect, and there's my trophy, Psychotic Prankster. Honestly, that felt more like murder than a prank, but I don't make the rules, I just play the game. With all the challenges and side quests complete, we can now move on to the DLC missions. First up is The Pit. It's one of my favorite Fallout DLCs of all time. First of all, it's set in Pittsburgh, the Steel City of America. Before the war, this place used to be a massive industrial hub and manufactured everything from weapons to aircraft components. Then the bombs dropped and it turned into a giant irradiated hellhole with a steel mill in the middle. Disease, poverty, and starvation have ravaged the residents of the pit, with many of them suffering from some kind of radiation-induced deformity. The ones who are exposed for too long turn into trogs, mutated freaks who feast on human flesh. Discovering this radio tower gives me the one-man scouting party trophy, which you get for discovering 100 locations. Then I trigger the pit questline by talking with Warner. He used to be a worker in the pit, but managed to escape. Now he wants me to go in there and steal a cure for radiation-induced diseases from Lord Asher, the boss man. Right now, this place is run by a gang of raiders. I'll pretend to be a slave so Asher's men don't shoot me on sight. Then I'll get in touch with a member of the resistance called Midia. Okay, step 1 is finding a slave costume. There's a slaver gang not too far from where I met Warner, so I walk up to talk to their leader. Since I don't want to cause a scene, I buy the slaves from him and set them free. Hey man, you know where I can get a slave outfit?
That guy over there on the mattress died last night. I never did get his name. If you don't mind the smell.
Oh, the smell won't be an issue at all. Like, I haven't showered since I walked out of the vault, and all the time I spent around the ghouls has killed my sense of smell, to the point where I can't even tell the difference between shit and french fries. Warner takes me into the pit on an old handcart, and the first thing we see is a bunch of really angry raiders.
You got a lot of guts coming back to this place, Warner.
Yeah? Well, I guess that's the difference between us. I have a lot of guts. You don't.
Man, this guy is so cool. He's like an 80s action hero, dropping one-liners and murdering the shit out of bad guys. Calm down, bro, she's dead. You don't have to turn her body into minced meat. At the gate, all my weapons and gear are confiscated, but we'll get them back soon. Look at this place, it's full of slaves. And there's the old steel mill. There's my trophy for entering the pit, and now it's time to find Midia and ask her how the hell I can get to Asher. Midia tells me to look busy, or else the guards will start thinking the two of us are up to something. So I go into the old street mill and collect a bunch of ingots. The whole place is crawling with ugly, deformed freaks known as Redditors. I mean, trogs. Yeah, trogs, like troglodytes. Great, they just handed me a gun and some ammo. I even got the first 2 ingots. I need 8 more to finish this mission. After some quick dumpster diving, I get 4 more ingots. 6 down, 4 to go. A trog tries to attack me, but my auto axe chops him to bits. I find the remaining ingots in the train yard, but my job here isn't done. There are 100 ingots in total, and finding all of them will earn me a trophy. I won't show you every single one because that would be extremely boring, but let's just say I went into the abandoned steel mill and killed a lot of trogs. Inside, I also found some decent loot, so I don't have to wear the BDSM slave outfit anymore. The foreman is really happy that I collected every single ingot, and he gives me an old set of armor that used to belong to his family. I also get the mill worker trophy. It ain't much, but it's honest work. Now let's put on that armor Everett gave me. Actually, it's not bad. This is a really nice power armor if you're going with a VAT-centric build, because it adds 15 action points. This stacks with other items that also grant AP, like the Lido hockey mask, and chems such as Jet, Ultra Jet, or Nuka-Cola Quantum. Midia tells me that Asher is holding a gladiatorial contest, and the winner will be set free. Sweet! This is my ticket to meeting Asher. There are 3 stages, and if I clear all 3, I'll get my freedom and all my old gear back. Inside the arena, there are containers full of radioactive waste, so I don't want to spend any more time in here than I have to. First stage. It's a pair of slave raiders, and I dispatch them with ease using a few VAT shots from my silenced assault rifle. Second stage. It's the Bear Brothers. One of them has a Deathclaw gauntlet and must be hitting the local gym because he's in excellent shape. But I've got no time to listen to his workout plan, so I blow him to bits. The second brother has a flamethrower, but I walk right through it and dump a whole lot of lead into his head. He goes down, and that means I've made it to the final stage. Okay, the final opponent is Gruber. He's armed with an assault rifle, and while he is tanky, he's no super mutant overlord. I use the good old strat of standing right in front of your enemy and mag dumping into his head. Gruber falls, and I'm declared the victor of this arena. Outside, I grab all my old gear and book an appointment with Asher. And there's the unsafe working conditions trophy. Someone needs to call OSHA because this is the most hazardous work environment I've ever seen. Asher congratulates me on my victory and asks me what I'm doing in this city. But I don't negotiate with slavers, so I tell Asher that I'm here to kill him. I think he was offended because he started shooting at me. All his underlings decide to join in on the action, and look, even his wife is shooting at me. The cure that Warner is looking for is right here. This baby's blood holds the key to the liberation of the pit, and her DNA carries the solution to radiation-induced diseases. And if you think this is like the plot to The Last of Us, you're absolutely right. Except Joel was a good man, and Asher was a ruthless slaver, so I don't feel bad about killing him. I take the baby to Warner, who tells me that there's one more thing to be done. Asher's Haven needs to be completely destroyed because there are still a bunch of raiders holed up in there. So we're going to use a little trick. Remember when we unleashed an army of feral ghouls on Tenpenny Tower? We're going to do the same thing here, but instead of ghouls, it'll be trogs. Much like basement-dwelling Redditors, trogs fear light. So we're going to turn off all the floodlights around Asher's Haven and watch as the trogs do their thing. I go inside the power generation facility and turn off the floodlights. And then all hell breaks loose. Now that all the raiders are dead, Warner and the rest of the slaves are finally free. Midia's taking care of the baby, and Akira is on the way. I get the free labor trophy and the booster shot perk, which improves my radiation resistance by 10%. Next, I'm going to do the Broken Steel DLC. Its plot is centered around remnants of the Enclave who are still active and pose a great threat to the Brotherhood. Without any central leadership, it was expected that the Enclave would collapse overnight. But this is not the case, and Brotherhood scouts have found an Enclave communications node up in the northwest part of the map. My job is to destroy the satellite uplink over there with the help of Liberty Prime, who is the most Giga Chad robot in Fallout. I meet up with the Brotherhood assault team at the location, and Liberty Prime is ready to roll out. Okay, let's do this. Liberty Prime lasers a vertibird and literally stomps a sentry tower to death. I just have to stay out of the big guy's way and shoot at any Enclave soldiers who get too close. Holy shit, did he just punch a hole through that building?
Detected. Analysis.
This can't be good. I need to get out of that blast range right now. Well, we just lost our most powerful weapon. I need to get inside this building and find out who's transmitting the orbital strike coordinates. The Enclave soldiers in here are wearing Hellfire armor and have plasma rifles, but they don't threaten me. If only they had spent more money on training, they wouldn't be standing there like scarecrows while I'm shooting at their heads. Alright, this must be the central computer. Now where's that relayed to the satellite? Got it! I need to get back to Scribe Rothschild. He'll know what to do with his data. Sorry, there isn't much I could do against an orbital strike. But look on the bright side. I got you the data from the satellite uplink. You know, I'm practically a weapon of mass destruction, so just point me at the assholes who did this. Speaking to Elder Lyons completes the mission, and I get the Death from Above trophy. Next, I'm going to retrieve a very important bit of pre-war technology that should give us a fighting chance against the Enclave. Only PowerWorks holds a Tesla coil, and if I hand it over to the scientists in the Brotherhood lab, they can make a Tesla cannon for me. This is a really cool weapon. It shoots a beam of electrical energy that travels super fast, and it also has a splash effect that deals damage over time. The only downside is its slow firing rate. Grabbing a Tesla coil from an old research facility might sound simple, but there's one major hiccup. The whole place is full of death claws. Not mole rats, not ghouls, not even super mutants, but death claws. Yeah. To make matters worse, you can't run away because this isn't the wide open wasteland. Instead, you're trapped with these monsters inside a building. At one point, I was attacked by 2 Deathclaws in the same room. Because this facility lacks Deathclaw-friendly doors, I trap one of them outside the stairwell and get in a whole bunch of free shots. He drops dead, and I don't want his friend to live all alone, so I kill him too. A few Enclave soldiers are guarding the Tesla coil. This one has a heavy flamer, so I kill him first. Alright, now I just have to get through this door and take the coil. I'm not sure if this is such a good idea. Okay, that went better than I expected. I hand the coil over to Paladin Tristan, who tells me that the Enclave has a mobile headquarters situated in the Adams Air Force Base. To get there, I'll have to take the presidential metro underneath the White House. I get the shock value trophy for bringing back a Tesla coil and immediately head out to the White House. There are a few super mutants in front of the White House, so I kill them and head down into the sublevels through a sewer access. Pretty sure the president is out, so no autographs today. Inside the presidential metro, automated security systems have been placed on high alert. Guys, you're about 200 years late. Nobody's threatening the president down here. A sentry bot shows up. Wow, this guy is smarter than the average anime protagonist. He can actually dodge stuff, but it doesn't matter. I've got enough EMP grenades to kill him and his whole extended family. Deeper in the tunnels, I encounter even more resistance from sentry bots and turrets. Soon, I find the computer responsible for this mess and ask it why all the bots are shooting at me. It tells me the whole area is in lockdown because some hostile elements have invaded the presidential metro. Apparently, these hostile creatures have no body heat and are extremely radioactive. Sounds to me like we've got a feral ghoul infestation. If I kill them all, the repair robots will fix the presidential train and I can ride it into the Adams Air Force Base. But I've got a better idea. I kill this sentry bot, steal its fuse, and use it to restore power to the train. See? Much faster. Excellent. Now we'll ride the presidential train to Adams Air Force Base. This whole place is under Enclave control. I see vertibirds, energy shields, and supplies. But before I go inside and massacre every single one of them, I need to grab the Tesla cannon. It's here inside this crate, and wow, it sure looks intimidating. Time for a test drive. Yep, it definitely works. Let's try it out on this Hellfire Trooper. Yeah, it works on him too. Just need a few more shots if I can land him. And he's done. The Tesla cannon has a really good range and a fast-moving projectile, so it can be used to hit running targets in free aim mode. You don't have to use bats. The entire base is one giant shooting gallery, with Enclave troopers and turrets around every corner. I'm glad they have these conveniently placed barriers for me to take cover behind. The guys with plasma rifles are no big deal. What I'm concerned about is the Hellfire troopers with heavy incinerators. They can shoot at me from halfway across the map and do insane amounts of damage over time. And for some reason, they are really accurate with those flamethrowers. I get into the access terminal and lower the ramp for the Enclave's mobile HQ. Since I'm out of healing items and don't want to take any chances, I use a stealth boy. Good, he hasn't noticed me. Yet. Sir, do you have a moment to talk about your car's extended warranty? After climbing the ramp, I'm now inside the giant crawler. It's like a sci-fi lab in here. Really tells you how much of a technological advantage these guys have over the Brotherhood. The satellite control tower is on top of the crawler, so I must get to the deck. From there, I'll call an orbital strike on this platform and turn it into scrap metal. Some Enclave soldiers stand in my way, but I ignore them and run straight across the room. Can't ignore this guy, so I give him a laser lobotomy. His friend is also interested in getting this special treatment, so he runs in front of my tri-beam laser rifle. My luck eventually runs out, and I get bullied by a bunch of Enclave troopers in the toilet. They don't dunk my head in the bowl, but they do take turns molesting my backside with a wide range of projectile weaponry. Time for round 2. They can't hit what they can't see. I sneak past multiple soldiers, and now I'm close to the top. Just need to lockpick this door. Come on. Yes! I realize the launch pad has even more Enclave soldiers than the inner levels, so it's important to stay hidden. I'm low on health and have 0 healing. So if I try to fight, it'll be like Ricky Berwick versus Mike Tyson. I'll end up even more crippled than I already am. This isn't how it's supposed to go down. Run! Alright, I'm inside the satellite control tower. Hey guys, I'm here to fix your internet connection. Can you show me the main terminal? Graciously, they stop firing at me as I enter the command to drop an orbital strike on their heads. Thanks guys! You may continue. Don't mind the bright red alarms, it's just the rats chewing up some wires. Definitely not an orbital strike that's about to hit in less than a minute. Bye! Sarah helps me escape from the base in a vertibird, and we watch the fireworks from a safe distance. With the Enclave wiped out for good, Elder Lyons thanks me, and I get a trophy for completing the Broken Steel questline. The next DLC is Point Lookout, and this one's slightly smaller than the others. The questline begins at a dock in Riverboat Landing, where Catherine requests me to find her missing daughter. Catherine's daughter went to Point Lookout a few days ago and hasn't come back. I buy a ticket from the boatman and head there myself to see what's going on. Point Lookout is in a swampland on the coastline that was never actually hit by any bombs. It used to be a trader's paradise, but doesn't get many visitors these days, and is pretty much a ghost town. Yeah, something's definitely wrong with this place. It's eerily quiet, and I can't see past 50 feet because of the thick fog that surrounds this place. My first enemy is a guy with really bad dental hygiene, and he looks like someone dropped an anvil on his head. At the entrance to this mansion, a ghoul tells me on the intercom that he's being attacked by some tribals and needs my help. He's going to gift me caps at the end of this, so I let myself in and help the ghoul do some house cleaning. These tribals are built tough. Never before have I seen half-naked people soaking up shotgun shells like this. On the upper floor, I get swarmed by tribals who are armed with shotguns and knives. Hey lady, mind giving me some personal space? Jeez, you don't have to get up all in my face like that. Since my combat shotgun is broken, I'm using this double barrel. Took 7 shots from the Tesla cannon to kill one of these guys. That tells you just how tanky they are. Downstairs in the basement, I find even more of these axe-wielding psychopaths.
Here's Johnny!
The silenced assault rifle and SMG are no good, but the Tesla cannon seems to work pretty well. Except for one issue. I kill myself by firing the damn thing because its splash effect also electrocutes me. These tribals are always getting up in my face, and at these ranges, the Tesla shock effect damages me just as much as it damages them. Desmond opens the door for me, and I thank him with a face full of buckshot because I'm the worst guest of all time. This room is the last defense point, and the remaining raiders are going to storm in through these doors in just a few seconds. I lay down a few welcome mats and get the refreshments ready. There they are. Would you like some 12 gauge, sir? Double barrel, specially prepared for you. Some more tribals run in through the door on the left, and I give this one an aerial tour of the house with my frag grenades. Our last 3 visitors come in through the main door, but since they forgot their invitations, I show them the way out, in a body bag. Desmond thanks me for helping him out, and I get the Superior Defender perk, which increases my damage and defense if I'm standing still. With the mission complete, I get the local flavor trophy, and Desmond seems to have some more work for me. He wants me to cosplay as a tribal, so I can sneak into their camp and find out why they want him dead. Infiltrating a gang of drugged up hyper-religious axe murderers? Sure, I see nothing wrong with that plan at all. When do I begin? The story for Point Lookout is fairly short, but it has a massive map. And there's a trophy for discovering every location. I'll get that later. Right now, I'm going to infiltrate the tribal camp and see why they hate Desmond so much. This guy is literally Sloth from the Goonies. I bet his family tree looks like a T-square, just one big line down the middle. Further ahead, I'm assaulted by members of the Sweet Home Alabama coalition. They refuse my proposal to introduce more genetic diversity, so I introduce them to my shotgun. Right next door is the grower's shack, where they're growing punga fruit. I asked for a free sample and they refused, so I killed all of them. In front of the tribal camp entrance, I run into some swamp lurks. They're like Marlurk Kings, but weaker. Inside the camp, I smoke some magic grass and start seeing all sorts of weird stuff. I know none of this is real and I'm hallucinating. After the nuke from Megaton blows up in my face, I wake up and I'm back in the real world, I think. No more Mesoamerican corn demons in my head. Guess I'm ready to meet with the tribal lord now that I've taken their hallucinogen.
And your mind has been expanded.
No, I think I actually lost my 2 remaining brain cells. I get the punga power perk and a trophy for walking with the spirits. I see a lady farming some punga fruit.
Unburden your mind.
Thanks, I'll burden myself with all your punga fruit instead. Hey, if I eat enough of these, do I start hearing voices like Granny Orton? Inside the cathedral, I find even more punga fruit. And I also find Nadine, the lost daughter. She still seems to have her senses about her, and is surprised to see another person who hasn't gone insane after eating too much punga fruit. She tells me the key to getting out of here lies in the hands of the tribal leader, so that's where I'm going. His base is inside this cave network, where I see a brainwashed follower praying to a hologram. I ask the brain what it's trying to accomplish and why it's attacking Desmond. The brain tells me that Desmond has a signal jammer that's preventing it from broadcasting its mind control waves across the entire swampland. I report back to Desmond, who hands me a cogwave jammer to install on a giant Ferris wheel. This should reduce the brain's influence on the local population, but I have plans of my own. Rather than installing the jammer on the Ferris wheel, I throw it into a nearby trash compactor and destroy it. I should probably report back to Desmond about his jammer, and holy shit, the brain just destroyed the entire mansion. Desmond is still alive in a lab underneath the lighthouse, and the brain has asked me to stop him. I enter the underground lab through a door in the lighthouse floor and find Desmond, who's absolutely furious with me for destroying his house and killing his dogs. Desmond offers me a last chance to ally with him, and I accept his offer, turning this into what, a triple cross? The brain is inside this lab on the lowest level, but it doesn't know that I've sided with Desmond. I ask it to offer me the promised enlightenment, but the brain refuses and reveals that it was all a giant lie.
Well, for you, I have a very special gift. Death!
Oh, so you want to kill me? Well, before you die, you should know that I betrayed you and sided with Desmond. He's still alive. The brain calls in a few protectrons, but they ain't protecting shit. I kill the brain and complete the quest, earning the Meeting of the Minds trophy. With the story missions complete, there's just one task left to do. I go around Point Lookout, discovering every single location on the map. Having the Explorer perk helps immensely, as I just had to walk from one map marker to another. I'll spare you the boredom and show you the trophy I got after discovering the Herzog Mine. There it is. I'm officially the Bog Walker, king of the swampland. There's just one DLC left to complete, Mothership Zeta. We're about to meet and kill some aliens. Then we'll have a Star Trek style battle between 2 spaceships. Sounds exciting, right? To start this questline, I listen to a distress signal from a beacon. When I arrive at the location, there's a crashed spacecraft. But before I can do anything, the aliens catch me with a tractor beam. I've successfully taken the bait. Inside, I wake up on an operating table with some big-headed green dudes staring at me. Hey, you guys don't do any proctology exams, right? No anal probes? Because if you do, I'm gonna be really mad. I black out once again and wake up in an alien jail cell with a woman called Soma. All my gear is gone, but I'll get it back as soon as I escape from this cell. Soma comes up with a brilliant escape plan. We'll start a fake fight, and when the guards come inside to investigate, we'll knock them out and run away. We trade a few punches, and soon enough, the guards show up, just as we expected. I kill them with my bare hands and steal their shock batons. Finally, I have a weapon. Now I just need to get a gun. And believe me, these aliens have some really advanced stuff in their arsenal. In the holding area next door, I meet a little girl who knows a lot more about this ship and how it works than either me or Samoa. So I listen to her and blow up a power generator, which shuts off the prison cell energy fields.
Are you escaping? Do you want to see the rest of this place?
Sure, kid, why not? You seem to know a lot more than me, so lead the way. The kid, whose name is Sally, tells me that she's seen various parts of the ship by crawling through the vents. Adults can't fit in there, but she can. Sally can also open doors by tampering with the circuits inside the walls. This is a really useful ability, and it helps me retrieve my equipment, which was being held inside this alien container. My goal is to reach the ship's bridge, which is on the topmost level. Inside, I'll find the captain and ask him how to get off this thing. And by ask, I mean kill, because he's been an awful host. First, we go through the Steamworks area where I find 3 alien guards with shock batons. They go down fast and I loot their bodies for supplies. Apparently, these aliens are bug eaters. I can't say I like eating bugs, but that's what they serve in here, so I'll go along with it and pretend to be a Cambodian during the 1970s. In this part of the ship, I get ambushed by a bunch of aliens. My shock baton won't be enough, so I grab the disintegrator rifle from a nearby supply crate. Let's see if this thing can drop some aliens. Oh yeah, it definitely can. Not only does it kill the aliens, but it also turns them into a pile of gray goo. Awesome, I love this thing. The aliens also have sentry bots, but a few shots to the head is enough to destroy them. This ship has healing arches that restore my health, but I'm about to get a much better alternative in a few minutes. I kill a few more aliens in the Steamworks section, and Sally rejoins me. Just ahead is the door to the engineering core, which is where all the fun stuff happens. With the area secured, Sally takes me to the cryo chamber. Here, we got a few pods with some guys frozen inside, and an airlock that can take me outside the ship. I get the trophy, Not of This World, for escaping from my cell and reaching the engineering core. Next, I free my fellow humans who are trapped inside the freezer. One of them is a samurai who looks like he's at least 400 years old. Then there's Elliot, an American soldier who was captured by aliens in the middle of the war against China in Alaska. And finally, we've got Paulson. He's a cowboy straight out of the Wild West and doesn't trust strangers. The aliens killed his family, so he's also hellbent on revenge. Sally tells me that there are 3 generators we need to destroy. One in the hangar bay, one in the cryo lab, and one in the robotics facility. With all 3 gone, we should grab the attention of the ship's captain. Let him know we're here with a bang. I can take one of the 3 companions with me into each area, but they're not interchangeable. So for example, the cowboy will only go into the hangar bay, while the soldier will only go into the cryo lab. Right now, the most useful guy is Elliot, because he used to be a medic. I can give him all my alien biogel, and he can modify the formula to optimize it for humans. This adapted biogel heals a lot more HP than a stim pack. I take Soldier Boy with me and head into the cryo lab to destroy the first generator. Inside, we find several cryopods. Some have raiders in them, while others have ghouls. In one of these chambers, the aliens gang up on Elliot while I was busy shooting a ghoul, and he dies. Well, there goes my free supply of adapted biogel. Then I walk into a chamber where aliens are experimenting on Elliot's former squad mates. He would have hated to see this, if he were alive. So I decide to avenge Elliot by releasing a toxic gas into the chamber, which kills all the aliens, and Elliot's squad mates. Deeper inside the cryo labs, I find the generator. So I do the usual routine, eject the core and shut down the coolant flow. This overheats the generator and it explodes. 1 generator down, 2 more to go. My next target is the robotics assembly. Here I'm going to make the most out of my robotics expert perk, since every enemy is either a sentry bot or a turret. The first few sentry bots are melee types, so they aren't much of a threat. After blowing a hole in the robot assembly line, I make it to the other side of this facility, which contains the generator. Here I encounter drones with energy cannons that deal a lot of damage. I run straight past them into the generator room to blow it up, then I take care of the drones one by one. With my work in the robotics lab done, I head back into the engineering core. Just 1 generator left, and that one's in the hangar bay. In the hangar bay, I find an alien spacecraft suspended in some kind of force field. I try to open a door into the adjacent section, which houses a generator, but it triggers an alarm. Aliens start running out of every door in the hangar bay, but the same force field that holds the spaceship can be used to strike these guys down. So I play a little musical tune on the pylon controls, and it sends the aliens flying. After dealing with the guards, I enter the generator room and overload it. It goes down just like the others, with a bright flash of light. With all 3 generators destroyed, I put on my spacesuit and take a walk outside the nothingness of space. The bridge is right above me, and I'll have to manually activate the tractor beam because the captain doesn't want me anywhere near that part of the ship. The view outside is beautiful, intimidating, and awe-inspiring all at the same time. I push down all of the control rods, and there it is, the tractor beam. Time to meet the alien running this ship, because this galaxy ain't big enough for the 2 of us. I earn a trophy for making it to the bridge, then I activate a teleporter to bring the whole gang with me. Sally opens the observation chamber, where I get a nice view of the big blue globe underneath. Take that, flat earthers! But then, the alien captain decides to show itself, via hologram. I don't speak Klingon, but he sounds super pissed. Clearly, he wants us off his ship. And to show us he isn't bluffing, the captain fires a death ray at Earth. Relax, pal, I can assure you there's nothing worth destroying down there. We already destroyed it ourselves 200 years ago. Nevertheless, the death ray needs to be stopped before it takes any more lives. Just like everything else in this ship, the death ray is powered by a generator, and I'm going to overload it. Here I am in the death ray generator room. This one's a big boy, and it's connected to 3 smaller generators. There goes number 1, now I need to bring up number 2. Oops, wrong button. Looks like I accidentally fired the death ray and killed a few thousand people. Mistakes happen. Let's try that again. Okay, so this is the button that brings up the generator cores. Got it. Generator number 2 is also dead. As soon as I go for number 3, a few guards rush into the room, try and stop me, but they're too late. And down she goes. With generator 3 destroyed, the death ray is down, and the captain has nothing to threaten me with. Oh wait, it's still firing. Damn it, there's a 4th generator. Okay, my bad. I just blew up another city full of people. But it won't happen again because generator 4 is now dead. I take the teleportation matrix into the living quarters where I get the alien archivist trophy for collecting all alien captive recordings. Then I head to the captain's bridge to finish the fight. There's the asshole. He turns into a pile of goo after eating a critical from my rifle. But the fight isn't over yet because another alien ship just showed up and it's firing at us. I have just the thing to deal with it. Sally, man the fire control system. I sit down in the captain's seat and turn on the power for the ship's death ray. Yes, it's still functional. I don't know how, but they must have a backup power generator somewhere. Target locked and fire. Our shields are still holding up, which is good news, but I don't want to become space junk. I fire again, and now the enemy ship's health is down just 2 bars. 2 shots later, it explodes into a fiery ball of stardust. Hell yeah! I earned the trophy, This Galaxy Ain't Big Enough, and I can now use the teleportation matrix to return to Earth. That does it for all the DLC content in the game. Now I just need 2 more trophies for the platinum. For the first one, I'll have to win 50 speech challenges. There's a really easy way to cheese this. You go to Camp Lamplight and ask Knock Knock to tell one of her jokes. You keep doing this over and over until you get the requisite number of speech challenge wins. So that's what I do here.
I was just gonna say no, a place where I can get some food.
Yeah, that was so funny. No, seriously, it was the best joke I've ever heard. You should totally do stand-up. By the way, can you tell me the same joke 5 more times? After a while, I earned the Silver Tongue Devil trophy, which means I've won 50 speech challenges. Thanks, kid. But seriously, your jokes were extremely bad. You need new material. Time for the final trophy. Remember at the start of the game in Vault 101 when I skipped the goat? Well, I'm gonna do it now for the final trophy. Yeah, none of this makes any sense. I finished my test as quickly as possible to impress my classmates, then hand it over to the teacher. He tells me that I'm going to become the new marriage counselor, which is the most awful job I can think of. But it doesn't matter because now I've got the final trophy, Goat Whisperer. And with that, the platinum trophy for Fallout 3. Wow, what a journey it's been. This was the longest platinum trophy video I've ever done, and let me tell you, it was well worth it. Fallout 3 is one of the few games I enjoy as much today as I did back when I first played it. I hope you guys enjoyed this journey as much as I did. Which game should I platinum next? Let me know in the comments. I'll catch you guys soon, and until then, goodbye.